Douluo, summons from the two-dimensional world. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 251. Do you want to kill this little rabbit? After 3 battles, except for Ningrongrong and Hanzhou Feng who were a bit childish, the others were still very serious. Daimubei and Oscar also gained a lot, but they were beaten badly. After all, the premise of learning is to be beaten. The next battle is between Ma Hongjin and Altria. The game begins. Ma Hongjin's wings spread out, and the huge phoenix wings took Ma Hongjin into the air. Seeing this, Lia's dragon wings behind him quickly followed. The speed was more than a little faster than Ma Hongjin, and he was close in the blink of an eye. Second soul skill, Phoenix rising in flames. In a hurry, Ma Hongjin directly activated his second soul skill, increased the power of the flame, and wrapped himself in flames, hoping that Lia would hesitate. Unfortunately, Lia was a person who had experienced many battles. She didn't hesitate at all for these little tricks. She chopped Ma Hongjin with a holy sword in her hand. The huge impact made Ma Hongjin's whole body tremble, and a trace of blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. He endured the pain and used the impact to distance himself. First soul skill, Phoenix Fire Line. Fourth soul skill, Distant Utopia. A series of transparent protective shields blocked all the Phoenix fire lines. Lia approached directly against Ma Hongjin's attack, and scared Ma Hongjin to quickly distance himself. Fifth soul skill, Phoenix Meteor Shower. A large amount of flames continued to burn and formed meteorite-like flame blocks, rushing towards Lia at a high speed. Unfortunately, Avalon's defense was very strong. Flawlessly blocking the attack, Ma Hongjin smiled. I won. The next moment, a hot breath rushed out of Lia's body, causing Lia to pause and frown as she felt the burning flames in her body. The sudden change shocked everyone. No way. Fatty is going to win. Oscar said excitedly. This is too morale boosting. No, Fatty lost. Tang San shook his head. But Fatty is at an advantage. Daimubei looked at Tang San in confusion. Xiao Wu on the side complained, you were at an advantage before too. Daimubei. Since Fatty solved the defect of his martial spirit, the flame has become very powerful, even with adhesion and continuous burning. At first, he injected a beam of energy through Lia's attack, and then delayed the time to make the flame grow. It's really good. But don't forget that Yuhan and the others are now soul saints. Not to mention the martial spirit body, there are also the 5th and 6th soul skills, and you should have forgotten Lia's 3rd soul skill. As Tang San finished speaking, a phantom of a red dragon appeared behind Lia, and the powerful momentum shocked the people around him and retreated. 3rd soul skill, the heart of the red dragon. The original flame disappeared instantly, and Ma Hongjin only felt a flash in front of his eyes, and the whole person had fallen to the ground, and then a sharp pain surged into his heart. I suggest you improve your melee ability. With your flame ability, melee is not weak at all. After Lia finished speaking, she turned around and left directly. We won. Lady Lia is invincible. The city defense army cheered loudly. Not bad. You didn't embarrass a dragon clan. Dian looked at Lia with appreciation. Because Lia showed mercy, Ma Hongjin was quickly healed. Then it was Dongtang who appeared, and Xiao Wu on Shrek's side. I won't accept mercy just because you are a woman. After all, you are not my type. Dongtang said with serious eyes. Xiao Wu knew the people in the entire Dimension Academy 5 years ago. They all have very bad personalities, no matter from which aspect. The arrogant and irritating Yihan. The murderous and indifferent Esdeath. Dongtang Aoi, who has a special sexual fetish for women. Shifengin Yoruichi, the head of the criminal army, who looks lazy but is decisive in killing. Hanzhou Kid, who looks very soft and cute, but is very Versailles about being a European emperor. Altria, who is upright but has an excessive obsession with food. And Tang San, who looks very beautiful and kind, is actually very black-bellied, and will never show mercy when she really wants to. Anyway, these are 7 weirdos. Xiao Wu is no longer surprised. Come on. I don't need you to give in. Since both sides are ready, let's start the game. Ning Fengzi saw this and announced the start. 5th soul skill, Close Combat Charm. Dongtang raised his hand and it was the 5th soul skill, but Dongtang's 5th soul skill is an amplification soul skill, which is rare. After all, it is more reasonable to put the soul skills that generally increase the soul skills from the first to the fourth. But Yihan's soul skills are the most suitable, and this soul skill is also very suitable for Dongtang. As long as he fights, he will constantly restore his soul power, physical strength, and injuries. Berserkers are crazy about it. Third soul skill, teleport. Xiao Wu took the initiative to see this, and the whole person instantly appeared in front of Dongtang, with a pink light in his eyes. Second soul skill, charm. Dongtang trembled, and just when Xiao Wu was proud, Dongtang said with a firm face, "My love will only be given to tall women with big butts." You. Xiao Wu was speechless for a while, but looking at the attacking Dongtang, the whole person teleported away. Pa. Third soul skill, unjust game. The two exchanged positions, and it seemed that the distance did not change, but the sudden change of position made Xiao Wu stunned. During this time of being stunned, Dongtang had already quickly approached Xiao Wu. Fourth soul skill, black flash. No. Fourth soul skill, invincible golden body. A powerful wave of air rose, and Dongtang's black flash was blocked by the invincible golden body. Dongtang was not frustrated, but condensed black flash again. But the next moment Xiao Wu barely dodged it in an instant, and looked at Dongtang with lingering fear. "Are you going to kill me?" Xiao Wu said speechlessly. Dongtang smiled, "Not really, I held back, but your teleportation is very troublesome. Why not try that trick?" Dongtang put his hands together, and suddenly black films appeared around him. Sixth soul skill, simple domain. Domain expansion. Stop. Xiaolei suddenly appeared beside Dongtang and interrupted Dongtang's skills. "Are you going to kill this little rabbit?" "Oh, not really." Dongtang smiled embarrassedly. Tang San and the others also looked at Xiaolei in confusion. You know, no matter whether it was Yu Yi's instant opening or Esdeath's ice cavalry, Xiaolei did not attack. Instead, he attacked an unfinished soul skill, which is still very curious. "Go down. You can't block this move at all, or I tried this move and was seriously injured." Xiaolei said it easily, but everyone took a breath. You know who Xiaolei is? It's a level 98 title Douluo. Yihan was relieved to see that he was stopped. The domain of Dongtang's world is different from that of Douluo. If Douluo's domain is mostly auxiliary, then Dongtang's domain is the crystallization of the spell, so it can appear in the form of a soul ring. The battle was interrupted by Xiaolei and was suspended. Dongtang was a little frustrated. "My dear friend, I have controlled this move. I couldn't control it at the beginning. I understand. After all, it's a competition, so you don't have to use this move. It's okay. We'll go to the big fighting spirit arena in a while. You can just try it. And look over there." Yihan pointed to the audience seats. Dongtang's eyes lit up when he looked over. What a tall girl, what a big butt, love it. After the battle between the two, it was the battle between Tang San and Zhu Xiuqing. However, one is an auxiliary spirit master, and the other is a quick attack spirit master. Everyone is optimistic about Zhu Xiuqing. Although they are optimistic about Zhu Xiuqing, everyone is cheering for Tang San. After all, who among those present has not received treatment in the hospital? It goes without saying who to support. Chapter 252, The Wise King Shanshan is the destination of the king's cannon. Seeing that both sides have confirmed, Ning Fengzi waved his hand and announced the start without any further ado. First soul skill, Netherworld Thrust. Second soul skill, Netherworld 100 Claws. With the lessons learned from the past, even though Tang San is a support-type soul master, Zhu Xiuqing still dared not be careless, and directly pursued a one-hit kill. Fifth soul skill, Kick Emperor, 5 bullets. The bullet in his hand was aimed at himself, and Tang San moved casually, but every step seemed to be carefully planned, dodging all attacks without any error. It seemed so comfortable, and Zhu Xiuqing's face was solemn. Sure enough, none of you monsters are simple. Fourth soul skill, Netherworld Shadow Clone. Counting the clones rushed towards Tang San at a terrifying speed. Tang San was not in a hurry. First soul skill, Soul Eater City. Sixth soul skill, Kick Emperor, 8 bullet. Facing several clones, Tang San relied on the 5 bullets to predict the future and still dodged very smoothly. Seeing this, Zhu Xiuqing's soul power fluctuated greatly. Fifth soul skill, Nether Shadow Connection. The speed became faster and the clones became more. Finally, in one attack, Tang San was hit. Zhu Xiuqing was ecstatic. "As long as I hit you, you can't dodge the next attack." A large number of attacks continued to attack Tang San, and then Tang San fell to the ground and didn't get up. The Shrek people were excited, and just when they were about to cheer, a black mist appeared in the Soul Eater city and wrapped Tang San, and then slowly pulled him under. The next moment, a brand new Tang San appeared in front of everyone. "Ah! You really don't show mercy," Tang San teased. Zhu Huking was stunned. "Fake, fake. No. It's real. Soul Eater City consumes your soul power, and the 8 bullets, the effect is very simple. It makes me appear again at the past time point, so guess if I am real." Tang San smiled playfully, and the next moment another Tang San stood beside Zhu Huking. "Or I am the real one. I give up." Zhu Huking knew that she had completely lost, spending a lot of soul power and ended up attacking a clone, but Tang San's 8 bullets were too terrifying. In this way, only Yihan and Tang San were left. After 5 years, Zio-san, do you have the courage to stand in front of Uruk? Yihan's words made Tang San's face condense. "Of course, I won't retreat this time." Tang San's seriousness was scary. Oscar also looked at Yihan intently. After all, through the conversation between the two, it was obvious that it was 5 years ago when Tang San faced Uruk during the Advanced Soul Master competition. At that time, Tang San, no, or not just Tang San, even the Shrek 7 Devils couldn't muster the courage to resist. Now that Yihan has mentioned it, he will definitely use it again, and Oscar also wants to know what the difference is between him and Yihan. They are both the same soul skill, but his power is so much weaker. Although I won't use the power of a soul saint, this time the king's cannon is different from the previous ones. Yihan's eyes were deep. Tang San's face was solemn. "No matter what, I hope to break through my inner demon." "Then as you wish, Uncle Zhao will take care of Tang San a little." Yihan looked at Zhao Lei on the side, who nodded to show his understanding. Fourth soul skill, King's Cannon. Yihan was not polite. The fourth soul ring lit up, and a huge city appeared behind him. It was still Uruk, and the powerful king's momentum rushed over. Killing God Domain, Blue-Silver Domain. Tang San gritted his teeth, opened the 2 domains, and looked directly at Yihan in the air. If it was the last time, Yihan would have been affected by Gilgamesh and cursed. After all, no one could look directly at the king. But at this moment, Yihan seemed very calm, with endless solemnity on his body. He was no longer violent as before, and what was left was the aura of a king. Tang San and others felt this not very clearly, but Leia and others felt it very clearly. Especially Leia, she felt that Yihan at this moment was different from the tyrant he talked about last time. "Inform all the people of Uruk, I am sincerely happy that you have survived so far after going through hardships. No matter how hard you struggle, Uruk will eventually be destroyed. But you chose to fight, and you took up arms to resist even though you knew the outcome. Uruk, it is a city of happiness. Now the human world no longer needs the protection of gods. Now is the time to deny the original gods and open up human history. This is a true farewell battle with gods. Dedicate your life to this king, just to pass on the glory of Uruk to future generations." As Yihan spoke, the whole of Uruk began to boil, and the soul power was more powerful than before. This time, the aura truly condensed all the people of Uruk, not just Gilgamesh alone. Such a terrifying aura made everyone present swallow their saliva, but they were also in awe. Tang San, who faced this aura, had cold sweat on his forehead. The 6 spirit rings on his body, the blue-silver emperor and the clear sky hammer appeared unconsciously, just to resist this terrifying aura. Leo was also a little absent-minded. How could such a king be a tyrant? Now he is obviously a wise king. Live and die with his people. That's right, Yihan has always wanted to find a solution to this kind of second-year syndrome. As a result, he didn't expect a solution, but suddenly thought that the King's Cannon was not the ability of Jin Shanshan in the 4th Holy Grail War or the 5th Holy Grail War. At that time, Jin Shanshan was absolutely an out-and-out tyrant. How could he have such cohesion? Then after many attempts, Yihan finally found that if he wanted to exert the true power of the King's Cannon, the king he played should be the wise King Shanshan who was with Uruk. So there was today's scene, which was also the first time Yihan used it, and Tang San gloriously became a great guinea pig. I can't retreat. Once I retreat, I may never have the courage again. Tang San kept hypnotizing himself. Chaos Cloak. A large number of blue-silver emperors continuously organized defenses in front of Tang San, and Tang San was also constantly accumulating chaos cloaks. Let him see, the real Uruk. Yihan waved his hand, and a flash of light flashed behind him. The defense organized by the Blue-Silver Emperor was useless and was directly pierced. Tang San's face was ferocious, suppressing the fear in his heart, and not only used the clear sky hammer to block. This is my last attack. Chaos Cloak. 9981 hammers. Boom. The two sides collided, the two domains disappeared, Tang San vomited blood and fell to the ground, but Eric's round of attacks continued. After all, the treasure that had been launched could not be taken back by Yihan no matter how powerful he was. Seeing this, Zhao Lei sighed, blocked in front of Tang San, and stretched out his soul power. Boom. It's so heavy. The moment Zhao Lei touched the treasure, his face was solemn, and he quickly mobilized his soul ring. Yihan landed slowly, and Eric disappeared. Zhao Lei looked at Yihan breathlessly. You are a dog. When did the power become so terrifying? Yihan just shrugged his shoulders. Seeing that it was over, everyone rushed to Tang San who was lying on the ground. At this moment, Tang San was not depressed at all. His soul power kept fluctuating and even rose by one level. Now it was level 66. Everyone was also very surprised. What a terrible civilization. But I have also overcome the hurdle in my heart. Thank you, Ziohan. Tang San expressed his gratitude sincerely. You know, since the high-level Soul Master competition, Tang San always felt a kind of suppressed discomfort in his heart. This discomfort was because of his regret and unwillingness to retreat. Congratulations, but this is your own choice. It has nothing to do with me. Yihan smiled. Tang San shook his head and stopped talking. Instead, he fainted directly, which scared Xiao Wu. It turned out that it was just excessive consumption of soul power, which also made Xiao Wu relieved. This battle also opened the eyes of all the forces in Anil City, or the younger generation, who had always heard the legends of Yihan and others. Today I truly saw the power of the legend. Chapter 253 The Secret Re-election of the Seven Sects. After a period of time after the battle, Tang San finally left with the Shrek Seven Devils. They officially set out on the road to find the Sea God Island. During this period of time, Tang San was like crazy, fighting with Yihan every day. Now Yihan watched Tang San leave, and the whole person was relieved. I thought I could have a good rest for a while, but I saw Xingjin appeared in front of me. Well, you are not here to find me. Master Yihan, please check. Bai Chengxiang said coldly. Yihan continued helplessly, and Bai Chengxiang had disappeared on the spot. Alice, poor life. I want to see what is going on to affect my rest. Yihan opened the envelope with resentment, took out the information inside and looked at it quietly. This is Wadabibi Dong. Yihan's mouth curled up slightly. Since you are doing this kind of trick. Yihan quickly left the room. The first target was naturally the Seven Treasures, Glazed Tile Sect, and the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family. After all, the two families are next to each other. Master Yihan. The guards saw Yihan and saluted respectfully. Yihan waved his hand. I'll look for Sect Master Ning, and send someone to notify Chief Jade of the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family next door, and ask him to come to the Seven Treasures Glazed Tile Sect. Yes. After a while, Yihan came to the reception room. Ning Fengzi smiled gently and said, My little friend Yihan, it's been a long time since we last met. I don't know why you came this time. Our Seven Treasures Glazed Tile Sect has already joined Anil City. If there's anything, I will naturally not refuse. No hurry, let's go join Chief Jade in a while. Yihan was drinking tea, and Ning Fengzi was not in a hurry either. Soon a heroic voice sounded from the door. Ziohan, why are you looking for me? I'm training the little bastards in our family. Of course it's good news. Yihan smiled and handed the information to the two. Yu Yuanzhan didn't react. Ning Fengzi looked very unhappy. What a spirit hall. They really know how to find opportunities. The re-election of the Seven Sects has been decided to start in 5 days, but since there was no news in Anil City before, and not many sects knew the news, isn't it obvious that it was decided internally? Yu Yuanzhan said with some dissatisfaction. Yihan really didn't expect that when the Seven Sects were re-elected, the slogans shouted were so loud, but when the election was really about to take place, they did such a small trick. To be honest, if it weren't for Jin Ringsu who would be in charge of the Spirit Hall in the future, the Spirit Hall would have been discredited once again if this news was released. However, this is also a good opportunity for Jin Ringsu's worship hall, if Jin Ringsu can grasp it. What does Yihan mean? Looking at Ning Fengzi, Yi Han smiled faintly and said, Master Ning, get ready. We are going to take revenge. Revenge. Ning Fengzi was startled. Did they say that they would control the spirit hall in the future? Could something have happened? Yi Han had already made it clear to Ning Fengzi that the spirit hall could not be destroyed, but Ning Fengzi could deal with the people who participated in the battle to destroy the 7 treasures Glazed sect in any way he wanted. Of course not. We will collect some interest. When the 7 sects are re-elected, how can we miss the top 3 sects like the 7 treasures Glazed sect and the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family? Yi Han smiled playfully. Ever since he saw the intelligence, Yi Han understood why Bibi Dong started the selection in secret. The first point is naturally that the sects or families that were chosen internally are all those who have long been attached to her. In this case, if they are selected as the 7 sects, they will give out resources at that time and will not be afraid of betrayal. The second point is because of Anil City. There are many sects in the entire Anil City. If Bibi Dong really wants to get involved, she really can't do anything. You know, Bibi Dong had announced that all the sects in the world could participate in the re-election of the 7 sects, all based on strength, which meant that those in Anil City could also send people. To be honest, Ning Fengzi was tempted. What tempted him was not the bullshit upper 3 sects, but the fact that he could disgust the spirit hall. Okay, when are you going to leave, little friend Yi Han? Of course our Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family will go. Otherwise, any scoundrel can get the title of the upper 3 sects. Yu Yuanzhan said with some seriousness. Yi Han smiled and said, you two get ready. I'll go find the 3 single attribute clans. With a goal in mind, Yi Han walked out of the 7 treasures Glazed sect and directly recruited the nearest criminal army. Find someone to deliver this letter to this place and leave it there. After sending the letter to Jinring Su, Yi Han immediately came to the 3 single attribute clans. Yi Han did not plan to take all of these 3 clans with him. The main thing was to find the strongest Po Yi clan, Yang Wudi. You know, Yi Han's idea was very simple. No matter what happened this time, as long as Anil City participated, the spirit hall would definitely not recognize it. So what's the point of fighting for the lower 4 sects? Just hold the upper 3 sects firmly in your hands. The main purpose is to cooperate with Jinring Su to hit Bibi Dong's prestige. After finding Yang Wudi, the latter said that there is such a good thing. He agreed without thinking. In order to save time, Yi Han set off as soon as possible. After all, although the selection place is not Wuhan City, it is not close. Yi Han was attacking here, and Jinring Su naturally received Yi Han's letter. Here it comes. Finally a letter after such a long time. Kyanjin and Jiang Mo would check when they passed by here every day. Seeing the extra letters, they ran back excitedly with the letters. Jinring Su heard this and hurriedly summoned a few people she trusted. Zia Su, open it and take a look. Although Jin Yi was very indifferent, he still had some expectations. Sometimes Jin Yi had to admire Yi Han. Although the worship hall is still not well known now, more people know about it, which greatly improved the situation of the worship hall. And those titled Douluo who left the worship hall at that time, one by one, regretted it, which made him feel very happy. Bibi Dong secretly held the 7 sects re-election, and Yi Han was going to get involved. He said this is her chance. Wait until he arrives, and you can take a look. Jinring Su handed the letter to the nearest demon bear. The demon bear scratched his head. What kind of opportunity is it? Can't you explain it clearly? It's so annoying. Let me see, let me see. Kyanjin snatched the letter, and read it carefully with Jiang Mo, and then handed the letter to Shenglong on the side. Looking at the letter, Yi Han's meaning should be that this 7 sects re-election will bring me an opportunity. Shenglong pointed to the only event, but then said with some doubts, but what does the 7 sects re-election have to do with us? Jinring Su was also a little confused. In his opinion, there was nothing wrong with Bibi Dong doing this. If she was the Pope, she would do the same. After all, there was a powerful enemy watching covetously on the side. It was precisely because of this mentality that Jinring Su could not see what was wrong with Bibi Dong at all. Yi Han had no objection to Bibi Dong's decision, and his choice was relatively correct, but for Jinring Su, this was a good opportunity to turn the tables. It's just that the person in charge is confused, while the bystander can see things more clearly. If you can't figure it out, just wait for Yi Han to arrive. Did he ask us to go to this lichen? I remember that this seems to be a small city affiliated with a spirit hall. Shenglong interrupted a group of people who were thinking hard. I think so too. Mo Shuang said seriously, laughing to death, and couldn't think of it at all. What's there to think about? Anyway, the answer will come when the time comes. Seeing this, Jin Ringsu didn't think about it anymore. In this case, time is running out. Let's go. No, avoid the two guys outside. This time we have to go secretly. We can't be as blatant as last time. Jin Yi nodded when he heard this, and immediately asked someone to start preparing. Although he didn't know what happened this time, since Yuhan said it, he naturally had his reasons. Chapter 254, Bibi Dong feels wronged. Jin Ringsu and the others who set out secretly soon arrived at Lichun. After all, it was a subsidiary city of the Spirit Hall and not very far from the Spirit City, so they were naturally very fast. After waiting here for a day, Yuhan and the others also arrived. Because they were not familiar with Lichun, Bibi Dong sent someone to pick up Yuhan. At this moment, the group was sitting in the yard prepared by Jin Ringsu, staring at each other. Xiao Han, give me a definite answer. What exactly is this opportunity? Jin Ringsu asked impatiently. Upon hearing this, Jin Yi and the others also looked at Yuhan, and their curiosity was not concealed at all. Yuhan did not keep the secret and said directly, "It is very simple. We came here to disturb the progress of the re-election of the 7 sects. As long as we participate, Bibi Dong will definitely not recognize the re-election of the 7 sects. And Bibi Dong originally held the re-election of the 7 sects in secret. She has violated it once. It doesn't count at that time. She violated it again. At this time, you have to take the initiative. Take over the power of the re-election of the 7 sects and hold it again. This time, the worship hall will check it at every level. Tell everyone about the several titled Douluo behind you to increase credibility." When Yuhan said this, not to mention Jin Ringsu and others, even Ning Fengzi and others behind him couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. It was too cruel. But even if it is presided over by the worship hall, we are still not in harmony with Anil City. The magic bear asked carefully. Jin Ringsu also looked at Yuhan after hearing this. Yuhan just smiled and said, "You can say that because of our friendship and because the 7 sects are in the hands of the worship hall, we reached an agreement. That's what you said, but we just stole your key last time. Isn't it too fake?" Jin Yi asked worriedly. Yuhan forced a smile and looked at Yi on the side. "Sister Yi, how did you investigate the last incident?" Yi understood immediately and said righteously, "It has been confirmed that the person who stole the key is from the Spirit Hall, but Jin Ringsu was sent to accompany him in order to familiarize himself with the terrain inside." As soon as these words came out, the people on Jin Ringsu's side were stunned. How could this be possible? Not only did he throw the blame away in one sentence, but he also put the blame on Bibi Dong. Great, really great. Jiang Mo gave a thumbs up to express his admiration. After finalizing some details, the group rested. After all, they were exhausted. The next morning, Yuhan and others hid their bodies early and came to the place where the 7 sects were re-elected. At this moment, Bibi Dong was giving an impassioned speech. The sects that can participate in the re-election of the 7 sects must be the ones that our Wuhan Hall strongly supports. No matter what, you will be the top 3 and bottom 4 sects in the future. It must be said that Bibi Dong's words are still very contagious. Unfortunately, in the eyes of Yuhan and others, these are all misfits. They dare to compete for the top 3 sects without a title Douluo. It's funny. Good. Your Holiness said it well. Just as Yuhan was complaining, the leader of the Elephant Armor sect, Hu Yanzhen, shouted loudly. "Old lackey." Yuhan said speechlessly. Bibi Dong looked at Hu Yanzhen with satisfaction, and then said loudly, "The first to be selected are the bottom 4 sects. The rules are very simple. There are 4 arenas. Each sect can send people to occupy them. The 4 remaining to defend the arena are the bottom 4 sects. The same rules apply to the top 3 sects. For the original bottom 4 sects, they didn't want to compete for the bottom 4 sects at all. In the eyes of Hu Yanzhen and others, the 7 Treasures Glazed Tile sect was destroyed, the Blue Lightning Tyrannosaurus Rex family gave up the top 3 sects, and the Haoshan sect retired. There is no one stronger than them. As long as one is eliminated internally, the other 3 will definitely be the top 3 sects. At that time, resources, power, and fame will be in their hands. The fight between the lower 4 sects is really meaningless. Some sects don't even have soul fighters. Because they are all recruited by Bibi Dong, the number of people is not large. So the speed is very fast. The next step is naturally the selection of the top 3 sects. Bibi Dong looked at the progress and nodded with satisfaction. Finally, there was something that made her feel relieved. Next is the selection of the top 3 sects. As soon as she finished speaking, 3 figures stood behind the 3 arenas. Bibi Dong saw these 3 people. The pupils shrank. Chen Zhen, Yu Yuanzhen, Yang Wudi. Your Holiness, it's been a long time since we last met. I heard that the selection of the top 3 sects had begun, and I brought my people here without stopping. After all, the Pope said that all the sects on the continent can participate. Yi Han's words made Bibi Dong's face pale, and her soul power was a little unstable, but when she saw Bing Haoi's sharp eyes, Bibi Dong calmed down. You know, because it was a secret, Bibi Dong didn't bring a few titled Douluo with her, and she couldn't stop Bing Haoiu at all. If Yi Han really wanted to take action, he would definitely keep her in Lichen. Haha, since you're here, let's do it. Anyone want to attack the ring? Bibi Dong said with a forced smile. Hu Yanzhen looked at the 3 titled Douluo on the ring, and he was shocked. What a choice. Are you going to serve food? For a while, the whole selection became very quiet, but unfortunately Yi Han would not be quiet. He gave Ning Fengzi on the side a look, and Ning Fengzi was not polite. The cohesion of the spirit hall is not good. There are so few sects participating. And the highest level of many sects is Soul Saint, which is too weak. Bibi Dong laughed, with an ugly face, and didn't say anything. Ning Fengzi was very happy. You know, in order to maintain his image as the leader, he hasn't been so happy for a long time. As expected, being sarcastic is the most enjoyable. Oh? Could it be that these sects are all pre-selected? Wow. The spirit hall is so scary. Ning Fengzi. Bibi Dong growled with the gritted teeth. Ning Fengzi looked relieved. What does His Holiness the Pope have to say? Bibi Dong knew that Yi Han was still the person in charge, so she looked at Yi Han. What are you going to do? What? Selecting the top 3 sects. I am responding to the call of the spirit hall. You have to understand. Yi Han smiled playfully. Conditions. What conditions? You leave? Yi Han looked at Bibi Dong in surprise. Unexpectedly, Yi Han was so cruel, and Bibi Dong could still bear it. However, the purpose of this visit was not so simple. This time I came to disgust you. If you send someone to rob my key, you must be prepared to be retaliated by me. Rob the key. Bibi Dong almost spit out a mouthful of blood. When did I send someone to rob? It was Jinriksu who robbed it on her own initiative. Really? Sister Yi Yi. Yi Han spoke calmly. Yi Yi took a step forward and said indifferently, according to the intelligence of the criminal army, the worship hall is affiliated with the spirit hall, and with the death of Jin Daoliu, the worship hall has basically lost its battle and has surrendered to the spirit hall. In the team that entered the ruins are Bibi Dong's confidants Ji Yuimei and Yu Guan. Sending Jinriksu is likely to be used as a shield because Jinriksu has entered the ruins with us, and Jinriksu and Bibi Dong have a complicated relationship. In summary, the conclusion is that Bibi Dong arranged for someone to snatch the key and enter the ruins. Bibi Dong was stunned when she heard the intelligence of the criminal army. If she hadn't known that Jinriksu was now firmly in control of the worship hall, she would have really thought that she had already mastered the worship hall. Seeing that the eyes of these sects looked at her differently, Bibi Dong became anxious. I'm not. I didn't. Don't talk nonsense. Bibi Dong denied 3 times in a row in exhaustion. Unfortunately, Yi Han had no intention of letting it go. I'm here. You can't start the 7 sects re-election. I said so. Bibi Dong was really vomiting blood now. She felt wronged. She really didn't steal any keys. She didn't control the worship hall, and she didn't even get the artifact. Why should she help Jinriksu take the blame? But it must be said that Yi Yi's words were reasonable and well-founded. Bibi Dong couldn't spread the news of the discord in the spirit hall, otherwise it would be troublesome. Chapter 255, Singing the Same Song. Bibi Dong and Yi Han looked at each other, one was relaxed and the other was livid. Yi Han, are you so sure you can beat me? Bibi Dong growled with the gritted teeth. Yi Han found a place to sit down very comfortably. No. I am selecting according to your rules. But if I win, I hope His Holiness the Pope will not break his promise. This place is very close to Wuhan City, you won't cheat me and leave you behind. Bibi Dong threatened. Unfortunately, Yi Han saw it very clearly. Bibi Dong did not have the strength. Even if she did, after spending a lot of resources and manpower, Wuhan Hall would no longer have a chance to dominate the continent. You can try, I'll wait. Facing Yihan's attitude, Bibi Dong really had no way to deal with it, and her whole brain was a little congested. City Lord Yihan, what you did is a bit against the process. It's too much? A person from a small sect shouted loudly, fanning the flames at the person behind him. Some people from some sects were a little moved, but the next moment, Bing Haoyu swept his eyes over, and all the sects who were talking were frozen, and the sects that were originally moving suddenly became quiet. What a bunch of idiots, they can also interfere in the war of title Douluo. Huyanzhan cursed in his heart. You know, although he also wanted the Elephant Armor sect to become one of the top 3 sects. But now is not the time to express his position. He can't afford to offend Anil City and Wuhan Hall. The real way is to play ostrich. Due to Bing Haoyu's strong move, the whole venue is now very quiet. Not to mention talking, they didn't even dare to breathe. Yihan said impatiently, are you going to choose the top 3 of the 7 sects? If not, just announce it. Just when Bibi Dong was about to compromise, a voice that Bibi Dong couldn't believe came slowly. Haha, Ziahun, I haven't seen you for many days, and you are still the same. Jin Ringsu. Bibi Dong's face was uncertain. You know, if Jin Ringsu made any move, Yu Guan and Gimra Yi would definitely come here. Now that the 2 of them didn't come, it was not a good thing. This also means that Jin Ringsu has been out of her control. In order to conceal the re-election of the 7 sects this time, Anil City was kept secret, and few people knew about it. If it weren't for Yihan's information, Jin Ringsu might not know it. King. No, it should be Jin Ringsu. I haven't settled the score with you for the last thing. You still appear in front of me, aren't you taking it for granted? Although Yihan's tone was calm, his momentum continued to increase. Zhale and Bing Haoyu took a step forward, and Jin Yi and Shenglong beside Jin Ringsu were not to be outdone. The atmosphere suddenly became very subtle. Bibi Dong was very happy. Now the 2 most uncontrollable people were fighting. No matter who won, she would not lose in the end. Although she was ecstatic, as the Pope, she still had some skills to cultivate her ki. Jin Ringsu waved her hand, and Shenglong and Jin Yi slowly stepped back. Don't be so distant, just call me Xiaoxu, you know we are good friends, and the matter of the Xiandao Empire was finally fulfilled for you, didn't it? Yihan also asked Zhao Lei and Bing Haoyu to step back, and said with some disdain, Jin Ringsu, you know I'm not talking about the Xiandao Empire. To be honest, what about the Xiandao Empire? What does it have to do with me? I'm talking about the ruins. Jin Ringsu looked pitiful when she heard the words, isn't this forced? You also know that our worship hall is in name only, and I can't refuse what His Holiness the Pope asked. If I don't agree to the Pope's conditions, I may not even be able to keep the worship hall left to me by my grandfather. For a moment, everyone looked at Bibi Dong in surprise, with surprise and fear. Bibi Dong's key cultivation skills were immediately broken. You have to know that the dirty water was thrown in one go, making Bibi Dong not know how to refute. Jin Ringsu, you'd better be careful with your words and actions. Look. What did I say? What a miserable life. Jin Ringsu looked like she was oppressed. Facing the changes in the eyes of people from various sects, Bibi Dong really had no way to defend herself. Yihan then brought up the main topic of today. Since the worship hall has been so oppressed, why are you tearing your face off now? Well said. Jin Ringsu's words are all nonsense. This was the first time Bibi Dong liked Yihan so much. Jin Ringsu looked strange, but recovered quickly. Of course I saw an opportunity. How about Xiahun help me? The re-election of the 7 sects will be handed over to our worship hall. Our worship hall will not be a helper of the spirit hall, we only seek to protect ourselves. For the sake of our old friend, how about helping us? Bibi Dong immediately understood Jin Ringsu's purpose. If Jin Ringsu really succeeded this time, the reputation of the re-election of the 7 sects would fall on the head of the worship hall. At that time, the worship hall would be considered to have truly stood up. Although the previous artifacts made the worship hall much better, in fact, there were basically no people who could really hold the artifacts, which also led to the fact that the popularity was only temporary. Bibi Dong looked at Yihan nervously. You know, if she refused, she would firmly establish the reputation of suppressing the worship hall. Now it all depends on Yihan. You won't act in conjunction with Bibi Dong. If I leave and you choose well, then I'm not a muggle. Yi Han looked at Jin Ringsu and Bibi Dong suspiciously. Jin Ringsu said righteously, as long as you give me a face, I will announce to the world in front of you that except for the sects in Anil City, all major sects can participate, and there will be 6 titled Douluo from my worship hall to supervise together. Of course, if you want to supervise, I welcome it, and there is absolutely no insider information. Yi Han looked at Jin Ringsu calmly, then looked at Bibi Dong, and then looked at the sects behind him. For a moment, everyone was nervous. Hu Yansong was afraid that Yi Han would refuse. You know, even if all the sects joined, as long as Anil City did not intervene, Hu Yanshan was still confident. Bibi Dong was afraid that Yi Han would agree. Once he agreed, the spirit hall would completely be unable to suppress the worship hall. Jin Ringsu was very nervous on the surface, but she was relieved in her heart. Okay. Forget about supervision. Just treat it as a gift from a friend this time. As for these crooked melons and crack dates, forget it. Even if they are united, they are still crooked melons and crack dates. Yi Han glanced at the sects behind him with disdain. Hu Yanshan and others could only grit their teeth in anger, but they could do nothing about it. Thank you. This is your chance. I will stay in Lichen for one night today, and I will announce it to the world tomorrow. By the way, Yi Han said and looked at Bibi Dong, if you want to kill me, tonight may be a chance. Let's go. Looking at Yi Han leaving, Bibi Dong really hated him, and also felt powerless, but soon Bibi Dong shook off this feeling. You will only be arrogant for a while. When I become a god, I will kill you first. The resentment in Bibi Dong's eyes can be said to be undisguised. Yi Han also knew this very well. According to Yi Han's plan, before Bibi Dong became a god, Jin Ringsu would definitely replace Bibi Dong to unify the spirit hall. At that time, Yi Han would not stay with someone like Bibi Dong. But now everything cannot be rushed, and we must take it step by step to ensure the integrity of the spirit hall. You must know that the integrity of the spirit hall on the mainland is still good, helping civilians awaken their spirits and giving some benefits to low-level spirit masters. The reputation among civilians is still good, and Yi Han has no intention of changing this. His final plan is to eliminate the bad ones and keep the good ones. Chapter 256 Game. With Yi Han's departure, Bibi Dong could no longer sit still. She asked all the sects to leave, and Jin Ringsu also left. It was not until the evening that Jin Ringsu sat on a chair and Bibi Dong walked in from the door. Your Holiness the Pope has come to visit, and my humble abode is really honored. Jin Ringsu said with a hint of sarcasm. Although Bibi Dong knew that Jin Ringsu had something to say, she still held back. Jin Ringsu, you must know that the re-election of the 7 sects is very important to the Spirit Hall. It is a crucial step in unifying the continent. I hope you will not be willful. Jin Ringsu chuckled, willful? It's not me who is willful, it's you who is incompetent. You. Bibi Dong was furious for a while. This re-election of the 7 sects must be held by the Spirit Hall. That's right. Isn't the worship hall a part of the Spirit Hall? Isn't it the same if we hand it over to us? Jin Ringsu smiled knowingly. I will preside over it myself. Bibi Dong said indifferently. Jin Ringsu was not in a panic either, and said to Jin Yi on the side, Grandpa Jin Yi, inform Yi Han that since His Holiness the Pope wants to host this event personally, then forget it. It's a good thing that I don't have to owe Yi Han a favor for no reason, and I don't know how to repay him in the future. Seeing that Jin Yi was about to leave, Bibi Dong immediately shouted, don't go. Unfortunately, Jin Yi ignored Bibi Dong, walked straight past Bibi Dong and continued on his way. Jin Ringsu, let's have a good chat? Jin Ringsu coughed when she heard this, and Jin Yi walked back again. Bibi Dong was relieved to see this. Zia Aksu. I know I'm not very qualified as a mother, but this time I'm begging you. The re-election of the 7 sects is really important to the Spirit Hall. As long as you agree, I will admit that you threw dirty water on me before. Jin Ringsu's face turned cold. Call me Jin Ringsu. A few years ago, you didn't admit that you were my mother. Today, you really are not. Since Grandpa passed away, I don't have any relatives. I've said that Jin Daoliu's matter was not arranged by me. And the people who killed your grandpa were Yi Han and others. Bibi Dong shouted hysterically. I know, but I only know that Grandpa tried to stop you at the beginning, but you insisted on your own way, and in the end you got nothing, and you also killed Grandpa. Jin Ringsu said indifferently. You know, if it was Jin Ringsu in the past, in order to get Bibi Dong's approval, she might really agree to Bibi Dong's conditions. But since Jin Daoliu's death, Jin Ringsu no longer had any so-called family affection for Bibi Dong. Then the people Jin Ringsu hated the most were Yihan, and then Bibi Dong. One was the murderer who killed her grandfather, and the other was the decision-maker of this matter. This matter did not last until Yihan said that he could resurrect her grandfather. After experiencing the struggle between heaven and man, Jin Ringsu chose to believe. As long as there is a glimmer of hope, even if it means giving up hatred, it is worth it. So Bibi Dong successfully promoted to the first person Jin Ringsu hated the most. I won't talk nonsense. This time, the re-election of the 7 sects must be our worship hall. If you don't accept it, you can also try to make trouble. Jin Ringsu said without giving in. Seeing Jin Ringsu like this, Bibi Dong knew that things could not change anymore. She turned around with a sullen face and left directly. Seeing Bibi Dong walking away, several titled Douluo came in. Xiaoxu, do you think Bibi Dong will be angry? Shenglong Douluo said excitedly. Jin Ringsu shook her head. Although Xiaohan asked me to anger Bibi Dong, it would be best if Bibi Dong could break our 7 sects and re-elect, but I feel that Bibi Dong is still rational. Yihan was just trying this. Yihan knew that the success rate was very low. After all, Bibi Dong was the Pope. Even if she was overwhelmed, she still had the necessary scheming. But some things still need to be tried. If Bibi Dong really did it and took this opportunity to expose it, Bibi Dong would be spurned by the sects of the entire Douluo Continent. The next morning, Jin Ringsu directly invited Yihan and issued a statement through the means of Anil City and the worship hall. The re-election of the 7 sects was scheduled for 3 months later, and all the major sects had time to prepare. The only requirement was that the 7 sects belonged to the worship hall, not the spirit hall. The resources that the spirit hall could provide, the worship hall could naturally provide. Among them, the worship hall is fully responsible, and the 6 titled Douluo jointly supervise, so there will be absolutely no fraud. In addition, Jin Ringsu also apologized for Bibi Dong's internal selection method. Bibi Dong was so angry that she kept roaring. You know, if Jin Ringsu didn't say it, no one would know. But Bibi Dong thought too much about this. Originally, Yihan was going to say this, but he thought that it could stimulate Bibi Dong. What if Bibi Dong was fooled and took action against the re-election of the 7 sects? Would that be better? So he temporarily changed it to Jin Ringsu to say it. And Yihan issued a notice in the name of Anil City not long after the news of Jin Ringsu came out. Although the content was simple, it made all the sects and families very excited. All the forces, sects, and families in Anil City will not participate in the re-election of the 7 sects, and will only recognize the re-election of the 7 sects held by Jin Ringsu, the head of the worship hall. All of a sudden, the sects and families on the entire continent were excited. On the one hand, Anil City did not participate, and the possibility of major forces obtaining the 7 sects directly increased. On the other hand, it is the recognition. You should know that Anil City's current status on the mainland can be said to be very important. Once Anil City recognizes something, its status will rise directly. As for the so-called affiliation with the spirit hall or the worship hall, it doesn't matter to the sects and families. It's enough to get resources and reputation. Even the worship hall will not order them around like the spirit hall, so why not? Just when the major forces were excited and ready to fight, the Xiangdao Empire also issued a statement acknowledging the re-election of the 7 sects, and soon after, the Xingluo Empire also agreed. Don't get me wrong, the Xingluo Empire has no power over Yihan at all. The main reason for speaking out is that it is already a general trend at this moment, and there is no need to go against it. As for Yihan, he thought very clearly. Anyway, they are all helping Jin Ringsu to build momentum, and Anil City has been involved. It doesn't matter if the Xiangdao Empire gets involved. As for the Xingluo Empire, it is completely an accident. The news was so big that the name of the worship hall suddenly surpassed the spirit hall. Bibi Dong's actions were also released intentionally or unintentionally by Yihan. Although there was very little black material, there would be no lack of public opinion wherever there were people. The knife of public opinion has basically never appeared in Douluo Continent, but is an excellent traverser. Various hot searches in the previous life have never been used. I have seen it, as the saying goes, even if you have not eaten pork, you have seen pigs run. Under pressure from many parties, Bibi Dong compromised, and in the end she did not go crazy, but withdrew very calmly. Yihan could only express pity for this, but Bibi Dong began to win the hearts of the people in the spirit hall, which Yihan had to say was very beautiful. Under the general trend of the worship hall, the best way is not to stop it, but to keep the people and power in your hands. If you insist on your own way, you may lose both the wife and the army. Then Bibi Dong directly released a big move. As long as you join the worship hall, you can't receive the monthly benefits given by the spirit hall. This move of retreating to advance is also wonderful. To put it bluntly, most of the small forces are living on the minimum living allowance, and the monthly gold soul coins are still very important. There are not many forces that really have industries, not to mention that if this is done, a large number of civilian soul masters will not join the worship hall. For a moment, Bibi Dong, who had calmed down, sighed that she still had some things and was not useless. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 257 I Want to Become the Pirate King. The sects on the mainland have been very busy recently. The only quiet place is Anil City. After all, there is no need to participate in the re-election of the 7 sects, so there is no need to prepare anything. It's so boring. Zion, don't you feel bored staying at home every day? Esdeath looked at Yihan, who was like a salted fish, speechlessly. Unfortunately, Yihan turned over very comfortably. Look, Zia Feng is the same. Hanzhou Feng was called by his name while playing a game, and raised his head in confusion. You called me. Puchy no. Esdeath was amused by Hanzhou Feng's cute look, and then looked at Yihan unhappily. Why don't you learn from Dongtang? Is he in trouble? He went to find his Zioge Ocean. Why do you want me to find him too? Yihan said playfully. You dare. Ah. Zion is so greedy. Obviously we have it all. Kwang Sam smiled charmingly, but Yihan could feel the endless danger. Facing this kind of danger, the best way is to admit defeat. How could that be? I have great self-control. Haha. Facing the disbelief of several people, Yihan did not mind and sat up slowly. Speaking of which, I have indeed been quite lazy recently. How about we find some interesting places to visit? Don't you care about the spirit hall? Leah asked doubtfully. Yihan stretched his body. At present, Bibi Dong is fully shrinking the battle line, and Jin Ringsu is busy with the re-election of the 7 sects. At least it will be very quiet in the next few months. Seeing this, Yi took out a map and unfolded it directly. This is the map that the criminal army has collected and drawn during this period. It should be basically complete except for the sea. It depends on where you want to go. Yihan took a look. To be honest, he had basically traveled most of the entire Douluo Continent. He had only been to the sea or some small places. Where is this? Yihan suddenly saw a small piece in the lower right corner and asked. Yi glanced at it and said casually, according to the situation, this is an abandoned battlefield. Because the murderous ore nearby is too heavy, no one lives here. What? Are we going here? Yihan shook his head and denied it directly. No, there is something weird here. Maybe it is something left by some god. We are looking for a place to vacation, not to suffer. Second. I think so too. I'm too tired recently. Ben Tiaofeng said dazedly. Yihan pointed to Hanhei City. Hanhei City, the largest coastal city in the western region of the Xiandao Empire. There are rich assets there, there are seafood that you have never eaten, and you can go out to sea to play. You have never eaten seafood. The hair on Leah's head stood up. I think we can go. On the sea. It is indeed interesting. Esdeath smiled. I think it's good too. It's a rare chance to relax. Seeing that basically everyone agreed. Why is it basically? Because Dongtang is not here, but Dongtang's suggestion is not important. Okay. In that case, let's prepare recently. Sister Yi, go and see if there are any soul guides for ships at major auctions. After all, we have to go out to sea, and ships are not available. Then Esdeath and Tang San should prepare the supplies. The weather on the sea changes suddenly, and there are sea soul beasts. It is quite dangerous. It won't hurt to prepare little. In addition, we need to learn some knowledge about the sea. Yihan arranged everything, and the whole person can be said to be full of enthusiasm. He stood up excitedly and said, Next, I will be the man who will become the Pirate King. Faced with such a middle school second disease Yihan, several people looked at each other and left one after another. Just when Yihan was satisfied with his actions, he saw that there was no one around. But Yuhan didn't care about this, and walked out directly. Should I buy a straw hat? Walking along the way, Yuhan opened the guild group. Yuhan, Dongtang, where are you? I'm here to find you. Dongtang, behind the fountain, my dear friend, I feel like I'm heartbroken. Seeing this, Yuhan rolled his eyes and walked forward quickly. He soon came to the back of the fountain and saw Dongtang with a lost face. What's wrong? My dear friend. Dongtang burst into tears and wanted to hug Yuhan, but unfortunately Yuhan was prepared and quickly dodged. I'm heartbroken. As expected, so I'm here to save you. Yuhan looked at Dongtang seriously. Dongtang was stunned and looked at Yuhan with some doubts. You know, Yuhan would definitely say oh and then ignore it before. After all, Dongtang is heartbroken every day. Yes, is that so? Looking at Dongtang in disbelief, Yuhan took out a map, unfolded it directly, and pointed to Hanhei City. Do you see this place? I see it. Facing Yuhan's seriousness, Dongtang also became serious. We are going to vacation here. No. I want to pursue true love. Yuhan didn't care about Dongtang's rejection, but said mysteriously, Hanhei City is a coastal city. The soul masters there all sea soul masters because they are close to the sea. And because it is on the coast, there are many girls with long legs and big butts. Since Dongtang is willing to go, I will go with Esdeath and the others, and you stay to guard the house. I'll go. Dongtang suddenly grabbed Yuhan's hand. My dear friend, please take me to this holy place, otherwise I will die with regret. That's right, this is the best place for you to heal your broken heart. Yuhan said righteously. Dongtang was very moved when he heard this. You are worthy of being my dear friend. Okay, get ready, I will notify you when it's time to leave. Yuhan had just finished speaking when Dongtang had already left, quickly preparing for the departure ceremony. After dealing with Dongtang, Yuhan could also rest. As for Xiaolei, did he still need to deal with him? It's really funny. Hearing that he was going out to play, don't even mention asking him to go. If you don't ask him to come along, he will be even more anxious. As for Binghaoyu, he is already the same as Xiaolei. The two are now in cahoots with each other and are basically inseparable. If Xiaolei goes, Binghaoyu can choose not to go. Yuhan doesn't believe it. Ziohan. Ziohan. Yuhan was walking back, and only halfway through, he saw two figures approaching Yuhan quickly. Yuhan subconsciously took 2 steps back after seeing the figures clearly, and said speechlessly, what are you doing? Ahem. Xiaolei considered his tone. I heard that you are going to the beach. Yes. After Xiaolei said that, Yuhan was no longer sleepy. The sea is very dangerous, I think you need to protect your people. What do you think of me? Xiaolei patted his chest and said very confidently. I don't think it's possible. You see, I can take old man Bing with me. He is a level 99 extreme Douluo. Yuhan pointed to Binghaoyu on the site and said with a smirk. Binghaoyu was delighted when he heard this. Yes, I think what Yuhan said makes sense. Xiaolei looked at Binghaoyu with a death stare, which scared the latter. Then he thought about his own strength, took a step forward, and looked at Xiaolei unwilling to be outdone. Haoyu. I have always taken you to eat, drink and have fun, this time give me the opportunity. Xiaolei said vicissitudes. Binghaoyu didn't buy it. I can't give up this kind of thing just because I want to. Who told me that I am stronger than you? Seeing that the plastic brotherhood between the two had reached a critical point, Yuhan stopped teasing them. Okay, let's go together. As soon as he finished speaking, he saw that the two people who were originally at loggerheads suddenly became very harmonious. Oh. I hope that Jibing Douluo will take care of me when we work together this time. No, Yuzio Douluo should take me with him. This wave of extreme reversal made Yuhan stunned. Could it be that men are really fickle? Chapter 258, Ship Soul Guidance Glass. After several days of preparation, basically all the materials have been prepared. Only the soul guides of the ship type are very rare. After all, there are very few soul guides now, and the ships are even more in short supply. This has led Yuhan to post tasks in the Mercenary Union. Those who provide information can get gold soul coins. It must be said that with the support of a large number of people, the search speed is still very fast. Ziohan, the auction house in the capital of the Xingluo Empire, said that there is a soul guide similar to a ship. Should we go and have a look? Dongtang handed the information to Yuhan very excitedly. Who is the most excited during this period? Not Xiaolei and Binghaoyu, but Dongtang. But because he was stuck by the ship, this made Dong Tang anxious, and he went to the mercenary union to have a look whenever he had nothing to do. Go. Not only do we have to go, but we have to go in a big way, Yuhan said with a smirk. Esdeath smiled helplessly when she heard this. We are all going out for vacation, and you still have to torture several other forces. You must know that Anil City can now be said to be the focus of attention of major forces. If you want to ask why, you have to look at what Yuhan has done in the past few years. He took the things of the god of fire from the Xiandao Empire, the things of the god of water from the Xingluo Empire, and the things of the god of thunder from the Thunder City under the name of the Spirit Hall. This operation made all the major forces exclaim that he was a good guy, so now as long as Yuhan leaves Anil City, he will definitely be noticed by all the major forces. Don't ask why, the reason is that they are afraid that there are good things in their territory that they don't know about. The group doesn't need to prepare anything, after all, they are just going to buy something, not to do anything bad. However, the outfit is very well controlled, and a luxurious carriage is used to travel in a high-profile manner. He does not hide his actions at all. As soon as Yuhan left Anil City, people from all the major forces began to pass on information. It can be said that except for the Xiandao Empire, other forces are a little panicked. God knows what Yuhan is doing. Because the Xiandao Empire is led by Zuzai, even if there are good things, let alone letting Yuhan take them, even if he gets them himself, he will give them to Yuhan. Although Yuhan does not interfere in the affairs of the Xiandao Empire, in the end, the Xiandao Empire has become a part of Anil City. What on earth is Yuhan going to do? Jin Ringsu and Bibi Dong, who were far away in Wuhan City, were a little confused. Bibi Dong sighed, send someone to monitor him. As long as he doesn't enter the territory of Wuhan Palace, he can do whatever he wants. Recently, Bibi Dong has been shrinking the battle line. She has already felt Jin Ringsu's ambition, and Jin Ringsu has no intention of hiding this. At this time, Bibi Dong wants to deal with Jin Ringsu the most. As long as Yuhan does not enter the territory of Wuhan City, she has no skills to control him. Following Yuhan's route, the Xingluo Empire panicked. The target along the way was directly aimed at the Xingluo Empire, and even reached the border. It's nonsense to say that you can turn at this time. Yuhan just arrived at the border and met an acquaintance. City Lord Yuhan is here, I really didn't welcome you. Dai Yunfei's face was full of smiles, which made Yuhan's body goosebumps. It turns out to be General Dai. It's been a long time since I saw you. What's this? Yuhan smiled lightly. Dai Yunfei didn't waste any words. I heard that friend Yuhan was coming to Xingluo Empire, so I came here immediately. This is also the sincerity of our Xingluo Empire. Yuhan just rolled his eyes at this. Isn't it just surveillance? But Yuhan didn't care, haha. Thank you for your kindness, General, but we are going to the capital of Xingluo, and the General needs to guard the border, so please don't bother. No bother. Not at all. It happens that I have something to do back to the capital, can I take a ride? Dai Yunfei said without blushing. Yuhan just shrugged and said, of course it's okay. Dai Yunfei got on the car and the group went to the capital as planned. Along the way, Dai Yunfei observed and found that they were really going to the capital. He asked curiously, I wonder what is so attractive about the capital of Xingluo that attracts City Lord Yuhan. Yuhan pretended to smile mysteriously, and then said calmly, nothing, we just heard that there are good things in the Xingluo auction house, so we couldn't help but go and have a look. Although Dai Yunfei didn't say it, when he saw Yuhan's first smile, he didn't believe anything Yuhan said now. Really? I really didn't know that. It seems that I have to participate in the auction this time when I go back. Dai Yunfei said with a smile. Yuhan didn't answer this either. Although Dai Yunfei intentionally or unintentionally induced and tricked along the way, Yuhan always kept silent, but he was able to show that his purpose was not simple. Dai Yunfei really thought that there was some secret in the Xingluo Empire that he didn't know. Soon, the group arrived at the capital of Xingluo. General Dai, we have to find a place to stay. Where do you think we should send you? Dai Yunfei looked at the capital of Xingluo, then at Yuhan, and slowly said, don't bother. I have a large yard in the capital. If you don't mind, you can live there. The facilities inside are definitely more comfortable than a hotel. Yuhan pretended to hesitate, and then successfully lied there under Dai Yunfei's insistence. Dai Yunfei quickly sent people to first investigate whether there were any good things in this auction, and then search the entire Xingluo Empire. He himself had been in the yard, intending to keep an eye on Yihan. As long as he was in his sight, he would know what Yihan was doing. At this moment, Yihan and others were very comfortable enjoying everything in Dai Yunfei's house. I have to say, General Dai's house is really good. Pucci. Brother Han, you are so bad. Ben Tiaofeng couldn't help laughing. Leah nodded, indeed, lying is not good. Yihan didn't care, I didn't lie, he thought I had some purpose, I couldn't refuse his kindness, and I told him I was here to buy something. The next morning, Yihan and his group set out for the auction house, and were indeed stopped by Dai Yunfei, who said he wanted to go together. Yihan didn't care about this, and the group came to the auction house and soon came to the private room. Dai Yunfei was really nervous now. The things in the entire auction house were checked yesterday. Although there were many good things, Yihan seemed to have no use for them at all. As the auction went on, Yihan bought a few small things he liked, and Dai Yunfei would go over to observe them. The following is a special soul guide, called Liuli. It is a sharp tool for navigation. As long as there is water, there is no need to worry about lack of power. The internal facilities are complete, and there are special storage soul guides in the warehouse, which can carry more supplies. It can be large or small, can dive into the seabed, be invisible, hide its breath, move forward quickly, and so on. It can be said to be a rare treasure. The base price is 1 million gold soul coins, and each increase in price must not be less than 100,000 gold soul coins. Facing the host's introduction, although it sounds good, Liuli can only be used at sea, which means that most soul masters can't use it. What about businessmen? They will not spend a lot of money to buy a useless ship's soul guide. Maybe in the end, only the nobles are willing to buy it for collection. After all, it is too tasteless for mainland soul masters. No, even sea soul masters rarely buy this kind of thing. For this reason, Yihan got Liuli very smoothly, especially the private room where Yihan was located was the front. This is a symbol of identity and status. Not to mention soul masters, even nobles have to consider whether they can afford to fend, especially for a useless ship's soul guide. At this time, everyone tacitly gave a favor. It was for this reason that Yihan basically didn't spend much money to get Liuli. After getting what he wanted, Yihan didn't need to stay any longer. He said goodbye to Dai Yunfei and left. This action was done in one go, leaving Dai Yunfei confused. He had been following him all the time, and his mind was always wondering what he had missed. Chapter 259 Arrival at Hanhei City. After getting the things, Yihan didn't plan to stay any longer. It must be said that the journey was very smooth, no one disturbed him. When he arrived at the capital of the Xingluo Empire, Dai Yunfei took care of him all the way. It was so cool. It was just a pity for Dai Yunfei, who was still thinking about what he had missed. We got the ship's soul guide. We can finally go to Hanhei City. Dongtang waved excitedly. Liaya also said with some anticipation, yes, delicious seafood is here. Yihan looked at the excited two people and smiled helplessly. Xia Fen, prepare to teleport back directly. After Esdeath goes back, use your cup to upgrade this soul guide. It is really convenient to have the ability to return to the city. It appeared in the Dimension Academy in a short while. Esdeath took Liuli directly into the room, and came out in a short while. After the upgrade, the defense has been greatly improved, and the space is larger. Not bad. Then start loading. We will be ready to set off after the things are put away. Yihan said with a smile. Dongtang and Liai heard the words and ran to the warehouse one after another, and the speed was frightening. Everything was ready, and Yihan officially set off for Hanhei City. It was still the same luxurious carriage. As soon as it left Anil City, it was reported again. Bibi Dong and Dai Yunfei almost vomited blood. Jin Rinxu was also a little strange and very curious about what Yihan had been doing recently. While various forces were following him, Yihan didn't care at all. Soon they arrived at Hanhei City. As soon as Yihan stopped, various forces began to report. In the spirit hall, Bibi Dong frowned. What on earth is Yihan going to do? He went to the capital of the Xingluo Empire before, and now he is going to Hanhei City. Is there really something good in Hanhei City? Send someone to keep an eye on him. If there is really anything good, report it in time. Compared with the spirit hall, Dai Yunfei thought more. Is Yihan looking for a key in the Xingluo Empire and then going to Hanhei City to open it? Could it be one of those little things in the auction house? The more Dai Yunfei thought about it, the more possible it was. Otherwise, how could he explain Yuhan's strange behavior? If Yuhan was here, he would definitely tell Dianfei that he was really just here to buy some things, and beg him to stop imagining things. Compared to the tense two sides, Yuhan was much more relaxed. Wow! Is this the sea? It's so beautiful. Benjo Feng said with some emotion. Yi on the side nodded in agreement. Yes. It's my first time seeing it too. Yuhan also stretched his body. Let's find a hotel to stay in first, and then go for a walk. Actually, there's no need. We have colored glass. We can sleep directly on the colored glass. You know, it's very comfortable inside, and there's food and drink, and you can even hide in the sea at night. Esdeath suddenly said. Yuhan thought about it, too. There were 9 of them, and Hanhei City was a big family on the seaside, so there was an endless stream of merchants and soul masters here. So hotels were also very tight in such places, so it was better to sleep on the boat that they had arranged. Okay, let's go for a walk first. After Yuhan finished speaking, Bing Hao and Zhao Lei looked at each other and coughed. Zhao Han, let's go for a walk first and find you later. After that, the two disappeared. My dear friend. You are right, there are really many true loves here. I am going to pursue my love. Dongtang looked at the girls coming and going, his eyes full of excitement. Yuhan was also a little speechless about this. He just wanted to fool Dongtang and let him come with him. He didn't expect that there were so many girls in Hanhei City who met his XP. We are the only ones left. Let's talk. Where are we going? Yuhan spread his hands. Esdeath, Big Fighting Soul Arena. Leah, Seafood Market. Hanzhou Feng, Shopping Market. Faced with 3 different answers, Yuhan couldn't afford to offend any of them, so he could only persuade them kindly. It's getting late today. Let's go to the Big Fighting Soul Arena first to feel the charm of the Sea Soul Master, and then buy some seafood on the way back. As for shopping, let's go tomorrow. How about it? Okay. Esdeath nodded. Leah on the side didn't have much pursuit, just something to eat, and Hanzhou Feng didn't mean to refute. After finalizing the goal, Yuhan and his party walked towards the Big Fighting Soul Arena. It must be said that the Big Fighting Soul Arena in Hanhei City is different from what Yuhan has seen outside. The center of the Big Fighting Soul Arena here is the seawater, and the outside is covered with ice blue buildings, which looks very beautiful for a while. This is too shameless. Put water in the middle. If you can't fly, you will be suppressed by the Sea Soul Master. Hanzhou Feng pointed to the seawater in the middle and complained. Esdeath smiled slightly. Sometimes the right time and place also determine the outcome of a battle. When you arrive in Hanhei City, you have to follow the local customs. I asked, and 1-on-1 registration is no longer available today. Only 2-on-2 registration is available. If any of you want to fight, go and register. Yi walked over from the registration area. Yuhan and others were stunned. Originally, everyone planned to fight 1-on-1 to have fun, but now it seems that there is no chance. Zhao Han. Team up with me. Esdeath walked to Yuhan confidently and pulled Yuhan to the registration area without saying anything. The two quickly registered. The name was very simple, just Hunter. Yuhan did not refuse. Since it was Esdeath's attachment to the original world, Yuhan had no need to stop him. And although this name doesn't make any sense at first glance, it is better than some weird names. Are you participating? Yuhan and Esdeath walked back and asked. The remaining few shook their heads. We didn't really want to fight in the first place, so let's cheer you on. That's right, come on, brother Han. Yuhan didn't force it. Not everyone likes fighting like Esdeath. The group of people here were watching the game very comfortably, and the supervisor of the Great Soul Fighting Arena on the other side was overwhelmed when he saw the list submitted by his subordinates. You know, Yuhan and Esdeath are already level 79 now. What does that mean? They can already be considered as strong people on one side, and there are not many Soul Saints in the entire Great Soul Fighting Arena. You two Soul Saints are still going to team up to fight. Don't you think too highly of their Great Soul Fighting Arena? There is no way. After all, the person here is still responsible. The supervisor ran out and quickly found Yuhan and Esdeath to explain the situation. You mean, there is no one at the same level as us? Yuhan said speechlessly. He really didn't consider this situation. Yes, please forgive me. Esdeath was also a little disappointed. Yuhan thought for a while and said, we can suppress our soul power and only use the 5th soul skill at most. If it exceeds that, we will lose. Our enemy can be a soul emperor. Go and ask who is willing to fight with us. If there is really no one, forget it. If there is, arrange it. Johann simply didn't want to disappoint Esdeath. Sure enough, Esdeath was also a little excited when he heard this, and the supervisor was relieved. You know, at this time, the most feared thing is the kind of unreasonable and unreasonable, but Johann and the other person's attitude is still very peaceful. The supervisor did not refuse, and quickly notified his men to ask each participant who is willing to fight with Johann, and promised certain benefits. But even so, when they heard that Johann and Esdeath were level 79 soul saints, they all became timid. After all, even if the highest soul skill can only use the 5th soul skill, the difference in soul power is not small. After asking around, no one was willing. Just when the supervisor was about to go back and inform them, the two twin brothers came over and said, "Supervisor, these two people are not sea soul masters, right?" No. The supervisor knew what the twin brothers meant when he saw the twin brothers asking this. You two are level 59, you have to think it through. If they are not sea soul masters, they may win with a fusion of the sea and martial soul. Besides, my brother and I feel that we are going to be promoted. If this battle is an opportunity, we will be soul emperors. Hi Gui said confidently. Hi Bai also nodded in agreement. Seeing this, the supervisor said no more nonsense. Okay, then you two, get ready, I will notify you later. Chapter 260 People are numb in every sense. Soon, Johann received a notice from the supervisor saying that someone was willing to fight with him. They were a pair of twins, the elder brother was called Hebei and the younger brother was called Hege. They were a well-known group in the Great Soul Arena, and their name was the Heppo Brothers. When Johann saw the Heppo Brothers, his face turned strange. If he remembered correctly, the Heppo Brothers were the ones who were beaten up by the Fengxiang group of Ma Hongjian and Bai Chengxiang in the original book. I don't know if it's the same this time. After all, Bai Chengxiang joined the criminal army, and it's impossible for him to form the Fengxiang group with Ma Hongjian. Just when Johann was thinking about it, a host said loudly, "Let's invite the group that came to the Great Soul Arena for the first time, the Hunter Group." Seeing this, Johann and Esdeath walked into the venue. Apart from other things, just the faces of the two people made the whole Great Soul Arena a commotion. After all, there is no shortage of LSP in that world. Their opponents are the Heppo Brothers. I believe everyone is familiar with them. Half a month ago, they lost to the Liuli Phoenix combination, who came to the Grand Fighting Arena for the first time. This time, they are also for revenge. As soon as Johann heard the name of this combination, he knew it was Ning Rongrong and Ma Hongjian. However, at this moment, the Heppo brothers' faces were slightly dark. This host is talking about something else. Can this kind of thing be said as an introduction? After typing this sentence, I must find this host to have a good chat. Both parties are in place. I declare that the game begins. After the host finished speaking, a blue transparent shield was erected around them to prevent the soul power from harming the audience. The two brothers did not hesitate and jumped into the sea. The martial spirits of the two are the same, both are seals, and the soul ring configuration is also the best configuration. They are ready to give Johann and Esdeath a head start. Two huge sea dragons rushed towards the two people, and the sea ghost said very proudly, "Where there is seawater, you can't beat us." The coldness on Esdeath's body slowly stimulated, and the two sea dragons that rushed over began to freeze and stopped in front of the two people. Esdeath and Johann slowly walked forward. As Esdeath stepped into the water, the seawater began to freeze, which scared the two brothers of Heppo. "Stop her." Hebei made a prompt decision. You know, their biggest advantage is the seawater. If the seawater is frozen, it means that their advantage is gone. The third soul skill, the raging waves. The two said in unison. The surrounding seawater raised waves because of the soul power, one layer higher than the other, preventing the frozen colleagues from rushing towards Esdeath. Unfortunately, Esdeath didn't buy it at all. She used the first soul skill to condense an ice sword, swung it, and directly split the waves, which scared the two brothers of Heppo. You know, this is the first time someone has used this method to block their third soul skill. Seeing Esdeath approaching quickly, the two looked at each other, quickly dived into the seabed to avoid the attack, and then used a large amount of water to break through the ice. Fifth soul skill, Magic Soul Arrow Rain. The two brothers who broke through the ice no longer held back, and a large amount of soul power gathered into a rain of arrows to attack Johann and Esdeath at a rapid speed. Such a huge range is still difficult for soul masters with low agility to dodge. Damn. Do I have to be beaten for watching the show? Yihan looked at the large amount of arrows and said speechlessly. Esdeath appeared beside Yihan at some point, and waved a huge ice shield in front of the two. Ziohan, this is 2-on-2, can you always slack off? Esdeath said calmly. Yihan smiled faintly, isn't this letting you fully enjoy the fun of fighting? Otherwise, if we join forces, the game will end directly. Esdeath did not refute after hearing this. The strength of the Hippo brothers was indeed not very strong, and could only be considered average, but this did not prevent Esdeath from enjoying the long-lost battle. Fourth soul skill, General Biglin. Facing the still unstoppable rain of arrows, Esdeath did not intend to hide, and a large number of soldiers rushed out. They rushed towards the two brothers madly with their lives. To be honest, not to mention Esdeath's momentum at the moment, these fearless soldiers were also scary. The two looked at each other, and quickly stopped attacking and entered the sea again. Tisk. What a troublesome sea water. Esdeath was still very annoyed with such people who dared not to confront head-on. Brother, I can't stand it anymore. Is this really the fourth soul skill? I feel that the eighth soul skill is possible. The sea ghost looked at the soldiers who attacked even on the bottom of the sea, and said helplessly. Hebei also frowned, give it a try. Okay. With the decision, a large amount of soul power began to merge, and a water tornado suddenly appeared. Martial soul fusion skill, Forbidden Water Tornado. Such a huge momentum made the audience shout loudly, but Yi and others on the high platform were not worried at all. I feel that these two brothers are going to be unlucky. I think so too. Every time Brother Han laughs like this, it's always bad. Han Zhou seconded. Facing such a huge water tornado, Yihan in the field touched his chin and showed a malicious smile. Esdeath, retreat behind me, I'll do an experiment. Esdeath, who was about to take action, was stunned, and then obediently came behind Yihan. Third soul skill, real name release, magic release, thunder. This skill comes from Rocky Minamoto. You must know that Minamoto Reimoto has the power of Kitano Tenshin, Thunder God, and as a servant, it is manifested as a magic release skill. I wonder if the Sea Soul Masters are afraid of conducting electricity. Yihan smirked and inserted the long sword in his hand into the water. A large number of arcs swept the whole venue in an instant. The original water tornado has now become an electric water tornado. The most confused one is the Sea Soul brother. Whether the whole person is numb in the mental sense or the physical sense, now all he wants to do is curse. It's really too much? You should have used your thunder skills earlier. When the fight was difficult, you used it to kill us in seconds, which made us look like a waste. After a while, the water tornado disappeared, and two seriously injured Sea Soul Masters surfaced. The host was also a little stunned for a while. After all, the battlefield changes rapidly. Just a second ago, he was still excitedly introducing the martial soul fusion skills of the Sea Soul brothers, and the next second, the two lost because of conduction. Ahem. Yihan coughed. The host quickly came back to his senses. Congratulations to the Hunter team for successfully defeating the Sea Soul brothers and winning this battle of souls. Congratulations. Soon the medical staff took the wounded away, and Yihan and others also left the venue. If I win this time, I guess no one will fight me in the great fighting arena. Esdeath said with some regret. Yihan didn't care much. It's okay, we'll go out to sea later, and we might encounter pirates, but we'll still fight them. It was getting late, and Yihan and his group went to the seafood market that they promised Leah, and bought a lot of things there, mainly because they had never seen seafood before, and Leah wanted everything she saw. Anyway, there was no shortage of money, so just buy whatever you wanted. See what tastes good and come back next time. The speed of purchasing was very fast, but because they bought too much, the store owner had a headache when charging. Overall, the speed was still very fast. The group packed up and came to the seaside. It was necessary to pay a fee to dock at the Hanhei city port, and Yihan went to pay the fee first. Then he released Liuli. It must be said that Liuli was really big and beautiful. As soon as it appeared, it attracted a lot of people's attention, some of whom were envious, and some were malicious. When they came to the boat, the next step was much simpler. They sorted out the ingredients and started cooking. This process could only be completed by Yihan. Kurumi, Esdeath, Leah, Hanjo Keed, and Yoruichi, none of them can cook, and Yihan himself doesn't know how to cook either, but some of their special treasures have this function. Chapter 261 Treasure Map. At mealtime, Dongtang, Zhale and Bing Haoyu showed up on time. Yihan cooked everything perfectly and served it to the table. The three of them just came back, and Yihan's face twitched when they saw it. Fortunately, Yihan and his friends ate less seafood, and it was still relatively new. Everyone was immersed in the food and had nothing to say. Yihan and his friends were eating, drinking and having fun here, but it was hard for the people who came to monitor him. Now they were eating steamed buns and hiding in the corners, taking turns to stare at Yihan. This was also the order of their boss. What do you think Yihan is doing here? He went to the Great Fighting Spirit Arena to fight all afternoon and didn't do anything else. How can we report this? The man in black said speechlessly. The black-clad man number 2 on the side was also somewhat helpless. Number 3 and number 4, these are basically all of us here, what about you? At this point, the corners of the mouths of the black-clad man number 3 and number 4 twitched slightly. Yuxia Douluo and Jibing Douluo drank wine all afternoon. The one called Dongtang confessed his love all afternoon. The words of the two made the whole space seem a little silent. Looking at the pen and paper in his hand, number 1 didn't know how to write the intelligence and handed in for a while. In the end, there was really no way but to write it down in detail. After all, Bidong's requirement was that no matter what Yihan and the others did, they had to find out. As for Yihan and the others now, after eating and resting for a while, of course, they had a good sleep. They had walked all day today and were very tired. As for the people monitoring outside the door, Yihan must have known it a long time ago. Even if Yihan didn't find it, Zhale and Bing Haoyu had already found it. The reason why they didn't do it was very simple. Me, Yihan. I have a clear conscience. That's right, Yihan was here for vacation. Do you blame me for following him? If you want to follow, just follow. The next morning, when Yihan was still sleeping in a daze, the door was knocked. After a while, Yihan finally woke up, yawned, washed up, walked out, and saw a man who was both familiar and unfamiliar. I remember you, who are you? The person who was called was excited. Yes, yes, yes. I am that person. Yihan was speechless for a while, and spread his hands. Okay. Sorry, I remember what you look like, but what's your name? Originally, Yihan planned to get the man's name to avoid embarrassment, but unfortunately the person in front of him had no eyesight at all. In this case, as long as I am not embarrassed, others will be embarrassed. Sure enough, the man was completely embarrassed, and laughed dryly. Master Yihan, my name is Chen Shu, and I am a subordinate of Master Jin Ringsu. Oh. I remember. Chen Shu. I have an impression. Yihan said shamelessly. Chen Shu didn't believe a word of it now, but he still had to keep smiling. Thank you Master Yihan for your kindness. It's okay, it should be. So what are you doing here? Yihan asked in confusion. Chen Shuo saw that he was talking about business, and hurriedly said, Young master asked me to ask what is the purpose of Lord Yihan this time. Is there anything good? She also wants to come. Can we wait for her after the re-election of the 7 sects is over? Yihan was stunned, and then he said with a smile, Tell Xiaoxu, no need, we are here for vacation, you see how nervous everyone is outside. Chen Shuo was also stunned. He thought of many possibilities, and the only thing he didn't expect was that Yihan was here for vacation. What is this? Playing tricks on the world? No, this is all wishful thinking of the major forces. Okay, do you have anything else to do? If nothing, we are going to go out and play. Then go out to the sea for a stroll. Yihan stretched and asked. Chen Shuo shook his head and said goodbye directly. Yihan didn't care about this either. He packed up and soon came to the market according to yesterday's agreement. It must be said that it is worthy of Hanhei City. The items are completely different from those in the inland, and they are all things they have never seen before. This has aroused the desires of these girls, and they took down everything they liked along the way. Yihan followed them, scanning the items one by one. Yihan, who had been following them, paused and looked at a stall carefully. Just as he was about to walk over, he felt a soft touch on his arms. Zio-han, do you dislike us? Are you trying to sneak away? If I hadn't found you earlier, I would have really lost you. Looking at Tang San and Yi on the left and right, Yihan was a little distracted for a while, but soon calmed down. No, I just found something good, look at that stone. For a while, everyone stared at the stone for identification. Item, product of the sea, Yaoshi. Value, can be found everywhere in the sea. Special, contains a treasure map. Treasure map. Hanzhou Feng's eyes lit up. Yi Han quickly pulled Hanzhou Feng into his arms and covered her mouth. Little girl, at this time, we just need to keep quiet and make a fortune. If the store owner hears, we will have to spend more money. It doesn't matter if we have a lot of money. Leah said indifferently. Yi Han rolled his eyes when he heard that. He was really a person who didn't know how expensive firewood, rice, oil and salt were. He should have summoned Kokuzu when he summoned him. Hanzhou Feng walked out of Yi Han's arms with a slightly red face. I know, Brother Han. Wait here for a while, we will go buy it. Otherwise, there will be too many people and it may cause trouble. Yi Han said, and walked quickly to the stall. Seeing this, Tang San left and came to Hanzhou Feng, teasing, how is it? Is it comfortable in Xiao Han's arms? Hanzhou Feng was stunned, his whole face flushed, and steam was about to appear on his head. Ha ha ha. You are shy. A few people were playing and fighting, and Yi Han had already come to the stall. Boss, how much is this stone? Yi Han smiled. The boss's eyes flashed, and he said with a smile, this customer has good taste at first glance. This is a specialty of our Hanhei city. The production is very small and very beautiful. Whether it is collected or given as a gift, it is a symbol of status. Now you can buy one with only 1 gold soul coin. It is absolutely worth the money. Yi Han's mouth twitched slightly. If he hadn't identified it, he would have been fooled. He saw that Yi Han was not a local and was ready to rip him off. Boss, you are not honest. Aren't there all kinds of Yaoshi in the sea? I just saw that yours looks good, so I came to ask how much it costs. You treat me like a fat sheep. Yi Han said speechlessly. The boss was not embarrassed when he heard this, and said very naturally, Your Excellency is a man of insight at first glance. You also know that there are sea soul beasts in the sea, and salvaging is also risky. I'll make the decision on this price. 1 silver soul coin for 1 piece is definitely a bloody price. Yi Han rolled his eyes. For this price, Yi Han guaranteed that it was definitely expensive, but Yi Han didn't plan to bargain. After all, he would take the treasure map away immediately and give the boss some money. After choosing a few pieces, Yi Han paid and left. The boss on the side smiled crookedly. I didn't expect to meet such a stupid and rich person. Although Yi Han had walked out for a distance, as a soul master, his hearing was still good. He slowly walked to a place not far from the boss, crushed a Yaoshi, and took out a special paper from it. Ah! This is a treasure map. Yi Han's undisguised voice was naturally heard by the store owner. Looking at the Yaoshi broken on the ground, and then looking at the treasure map in Yi Han's hand, the store owner knew that he had sold a treasure. No, no. I'll give you the money back. The boss rushed over to grab the treasure map. Yi Han left in a flash. The money has been collected, the things are mine, let's go. After saying that, Yi Han left without any nostalgia. The boss looked at the direction where Yi Han left with a face full of resentment, and then quickly took his Yaoshi and left, and found a place where no one was and smashed all the Yaoshi. Unfortunately, treasure maps are not available everywhere, which makes the boss even more jealous. You little girl, just wait, my things are mine. Chapter 262, Grab the Bamboo Shoots. In Hanhei City, Yi Han and his group walked for a distance. Esdeath and others couldn't help laughing. Xiao Han, you are so mean. Yes, Brother Han, we agreed to make a fortune quietly. Hanzhou Feng also laughed. Grab the bamboo shoots. You have grabbed all the bamboo shoots on the mountain. Yi complained on the side. Yi Han didn't care, and raised the treasure map very proudly. He was the first to say that I was stupid and rich. Isn't this to prove that I am not only rich, but also very smart? Yi Han's every move here was not concealed, and the most moved was the person who is monitoring him. Number 1, today's report is finally written. Number 2 was so excited that he burst into tears. Number 1 also nodded in surprise. Yes, I feel that if we write that Yi Han played for another day, we will be separated from our HUDs tomorrow. After strolling for a morning, everyone returned to Liuli with a lot of things. This time everyone was together. After all, the treasure map involved going out to sea, so Zhale, Bing Hao Iu and others had to be recalled. Where's the treasure map? Show it to me. Zhao Lei was so excited that he ran over and asked excitedly. Yi Han handed the treasure map to Zhao Lei, who opened it carefully and was stunned when he looked at the treasure map. This is different from what I thought. What's different? Yuhan asked with a smile. Zhao Lei handed the treasure map to Bing Haoyu. Take a look. Bing Haoyu was also stunned, but soon recovered. Well, as I expected, it is indeed like this. As the person who colluded with Bing Haoyu, Zhao Lei directly exposed him and said, you must not understand it, but you are pretending to understand it here. If you understand it, explain it to me. Bing Haoyu's old face turned red, and then he said excitedly, damn. Do you want to fight? If you say one more word, our friendship will end. I paid for all the money recently. Brother Zhao. You are right, this treasure map is completely different from what I thought. Bing Haoyu's attitude changed 180 degrees. Yihan was a little confused, so what's the difference? I think it's a normal treasure map. Zhao Lei thought for a while, found a pen, and drew a picture. It should be like this. Yihan and others gathered around to see what Zhao Lei had drawn. There was only the departure place and the destination, with dotted lines extending to the destination in the middle, and then there was a treasure chest at the destination with a small flag on it. Are you kidding me? Yihan's mouth twitched slightly. Yi on the side had laughed so hard that his stomach hurt. Uncle Zhao, you are too abstract. The sea is so big, it's too difficult to find an island, and even if you find it, your map can't tell us where on the island. That's right, from a professional point of view, if someone dares to draw a sea chart like this for me, not to mention killing him, at least he will be beaten up. I will think he is teasing me. Esdeath said seriously. Uncle Zhao, I support you, the abstract style needs you. Dongtang gave a thumbs up and smiled. Feng Banzhou took out the system and started taking pictures. This kind of thing is still worth remembering. Okay. Zhao Lei said angrily, it's my fault, give me my painting, I threw it away. Yihan grabbed the paper. Don't worry, let's make some waste. What do you mean? Everyone asked curiously. Yihan imitated Zhao Lei's painting and made 9 identical ones. This is a big gift for the people outside. Yi and others understood immediately and smiled evilly. You are so mean. Just as the people who were monitoring outside were eating lunch, Yihan went out, and then came back after a while, with a few more pieces of paper in his hand. This is the treasure map I asked someone to copy, one for each person, to prevent it from being lost later. Yihan was talking, and Yi on the boat suddenly shouted, Ziohan. Yihan handed the treasure map in his hand to Esdeath. Send it, I'll go and see it. Esdeath sent the treasure map out, leaving only Yihan's one, and put it aside, and then suddenly Yihan also called, and everyone walked towards the boat. Only a treasure map was left lying there quietly. Gululu. Number 1 swallowed his saliva, and with a gust of wind, the treasure map was blown away. Go. Number 1 quickly rushed into the sky and tried to grab the treasure map, but the next moment a man in black followed closely. The two looked at each other and fought fiercely. People from the Spirit Hall. People from the Douluo Empire. The two spoke in unison, but their movements were not slow. They fought quickly, and number 2 on the side also quickly supported them. For a while, there was a sense of fighting. Each of us should take a step back and find a store together to copy one. How about one for each person? Okay. They were all for the treasure map, so there was no need to fight to the death. You know, if Yihan and others came out and found that they had taken the treasure map, it would be troublesome. As the surveillance left, Yihan was already laughing so hard that he couldn't breathe. Haha. That's too mean. Ziohan, is this treasure map too fake? Zhao Lei said worriedly. Yihan shook his head. It's better to believe it than not to believe it. Look, even if it's fake, they will send someone. The two people who were copying on the other side were a little confused for a moment when they saw such simple lines and such a rough painting style. Number 1, could this be fake? Number 2 said cautiously. Number 1 was also a little entangled, and then he said firmly, no matter what, if it is true, we didn't report it, it's our fault. Anyway, the Douluo Empire got the same thing. Bibi Dong, who was far away in the sky, soon received the map. Looking at the treasure map, her head hurt a little. At first glance, this kind of treasure map has no problem. There is a starting point, an end point, and treasure, but it is a little too simple. Yuguan, find a Soul Douluo to lead the team to find it. If they find it before Yihan, bring it back. If they can't find it, forget it. If you meet Yihan on the way, just leave. Bibi Dong said with a headache. The Douluo Empire on the other side was also a little confused, and finally had no choice but to send people to find it. In their thinking, It was very simple. Everyone's treasure map was very simple. What if I found it first? Unfortunately, when the two parties were confused, Yihan and others had already finished their research. After all, this treasure map can be said to be not difficult at all. As long as you know the sea map, you know how to go. Now all that's left is to prepare to set out to find the treasure. But Yihan and others are not in a hurry. After all, they have only been in Hanhei City for a day and a half, and they haven't had enough fun yet. As for whether the treasure will be taken away, don't be funny, let alone the treasure map drawn by Zhao Lei is too amazing. Even if they find an island, do you think they can find the treasure on such a big island? If they really find it, Yihan won't care. After all, such a treasure map has found the treasure, proving that the treasure does not belong to him, and there is no need to force it. But Yihan's wait has made the three parties suffer. The Douluo Empire and the Spirit Hall are observing Yihan to see when he will set off and finally follow behind. After all, this treasure map is too amazing. On the other side is the boss of Yoshi. It is not easy to take action in Hanhei City, but as long as Yihan and others leave Hanhei City, he swears that he will definitely bury Yihan in the sea. Chapter 263, Treasure Hunt. After 2 or 3 days of playing around, under Zhao Lei's strong suggestion, everyone set out on the road to find the treasure. This excited the waiting people so much that they were incoherent. Number 1, Yihan is finally leaving. When are we leaving? Number 2 said with tears streaming down his face. To be honest, it's not the fault of the people on the boat who are so angry, but they really can't understand that special map, and they are afraid that Yihan will disappear inexplicably, so they send people to follow him day and night. Can you believe that the other side is eating delicacies from mountains and seas, while this side can only have simple meals? Is this reasonable? However, Yihan didn't just eat, drink and have fun these days, but systematically found some sea charts near Hanhei City for comparison, just in case. If the sea chart drawn by Hanhei City is different from the treasure map, then Yihan must be careful when going out to sea. Okay, everyone is full and full. I declare that the first voyage of Anil City, belonging to the Dimension Academy, Liuli, officially begins. Yihan roared with great enthusiasm. Good. Zhao Lei applauded loudly. Unfortunately, only Zhao Lei and Yihan were so excited, while everyone else was very calm. Hurry up. Follow up. My lord, the boat can't move. Are you useless? Put up the anchor and set sail. If we don't leave now, Yihan will be far away. Damn it. Really, why is this boat so fast? The Liuli on Yihan's side was basically fully automatic, and there was nothing to control. After all, it was a soul guide, so this function was still very normal. However, this was a hard time for the people of the Douluo Empire and the Spirit Hall on the other side. You have to know that these people live inland, and when have they ever used a boat? They were in a mess for a while, but fortunately they set sail successfully. Although they were already far away from Yihan, at least they could see a shadow. The Liuli was sailing very calmly, and soon a large ship suddenly rushed towards Yihan, with a skull flying above the sea. For a moment, Yihan felt his DNA moving. Pirates. Look! It's pirates. Come over. Come over. Calm down. Ziohan, you have been inexplicably excited since you went to sea. Leah said speechlessly. However, Liuli still quietly approached the pirate ship. This made the pirate ship look confused. The people on the ship were the boss who sold the Yoshi to Yihan. They were speechless. After waiting for a long time, Yihan finally set off, but what happened? Liuli found that their ship could not catch up with Yihan at all. Fortunately, they were locals. Familiar with the sea area, they guessed the direction of Yihan's travel, and used the water flow and wind direction to barely catch up. Originally, seeing Yihan in front of them again, these pirates were about to give up. What happened? Since Yihan turned around and came in their direction, you really don't take the road to heaven, and you break into hell without a door. Little girl, you asked for it. Zhang Yu, are you sure it's just some young people? You know this ship is not simple, there won't be masters. The pirate leader said with some concern. Don't worry, Boss Wang. They are so young and their strength is not that strong. Besides, we didn't see many guards along the way. Besides, the sea is our home ground. Zhang Yu took out some gold soul coins and handed them to Old Man Wang. Boss Wang was not polite and put them away directly. That's what I said, but we have to be careful in our line of work. I understand. But this treasure map must be a good thing. When we find the treasure, we will have no worries about food and clothing. Zhao Yu smiled flatteringly. Boss Wang also nodded, and the greed in his eyes could not be stopped at all. To be honest, generally speaking, as pirates, they avoid these nobles. After all, there may be guards, and secondly, if they have a big background, they may be hunted down. However, the charm of the treasure map may not be great for people in the inland, but people on the sea know that the places that can be drawn into treasure maps must be full of treasures. So Boss Wang's idea is very simple. If it is really a big ticket this time, he will retire. If it is not big, he will find a place to hide. Anyway, the sea is so big, who can find them? Yi Han and the pirates were about to come into contact, and the two major forces behind him also saw it. Lord Liu Huaiyu, do you think we should help? Number 1 looked at the only soul Douluo and asked carefully. Liu Huaiyu looked at number 1 speechlessly. We are just out for fun, don't feel any psychological burden, and have you seen the two titled Douluos on Yi Han's ship? They don't need us at all. As an intelligent person, Liu Huaiyu knew that if he, a soul Douluo, found the treasure, so what? It would be better to just go through the motions and show his respect. This situation is simply a paid vacation. Only these people in front of him don't know what's good for them, and they are miserable all day long. Liu's speed is still very fast. Under Yi Han's deliberate efforts, the two sides finally came into contact. Boss Wang brought a group of pirates to Liuli. Stinky girl, hand over all the good stuff to me. Little girl, we meet again. Zhang Yu laughed contemptuously. You took my treasure map and just left like that, do you think you can get away? Yi Han was speechless when he saw the people coming up. He just wanted to see the pirates, but he didn't expect to meet an acquaintance. If you don't want to die, get out of here. Humph. You are so stubborn. Boss Wang, you can see that there are only a few people on the whole ship, 7 young people, an old man and a middle-aged man. I guess only the middle-aged man is strong. Let's take action directly. If we take them down, we can not only get all their things, but also 6 beauties to enjoy. Zhang Yu laughed very obscenely. Boss Wang also looked expectant, and he looked at Yi Han and others with lustful eyes. Yi Han's face turned cold at this. If it was just a simple dispute, Yi Han would at most beat them up, but now someone is looking for death? Yi Han is not a generous person either. Looking for death? A strong breath burst out from Yi Han instantly. Drive them back to their own ship. 7 soul rings appeared on Leah's body instantly. Second soul skill, Wind King Iron Hammer. Leah with 7 soul rings scared everyone present. You know, their strongest Boss Wang is only a soul saint. Then a strong wind pressure directly knocked the group of people off the glass. Bang! Among the pirates, only Boss Wang landed safely, and the others fell on the deck. Before Boss Wang could react, Yi Han looked at Bing Haoiu on the side, who also understood it in seconds. The extreme ice appeared instantly, and the ship and the people turned into ice blocks instantly. Because it was the extreme ice, the ice block did not change when it touched the water surface. The people inside were still conscious, but they could not move. You just wait to die here. Yi Han said indifferently, and the glass was also activated. Boss Wang's eyes widened at this moment. He saw that when Bing Haoiu made the move, he had 9 soul rings on his body. That was a title Douluo, and it was the first time he had seen it in his life. The resentment towards Zhang Yu in his heart reached its peak, but there was nothing he could do at this moment. After all, everyone on the boat was waiting to die. Tisk tisk tisk. Too miserable. Liu Huaiyu looked at the ice pitifully. See, if you meet Yi Han, be nicer and don't do stupid things to me. The people of the spirit hall nodded in understanding. Seeing his men's cautious attitude, Liu Huaiyu also nodded with satisfaction. After all, he didn't want to die at sea, and he still had a lot of good time to eat, drink and have fun. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 264 Russian Dolls. After the pirate incident, Yi Han's interest suddenly dissipated a lot. We are almost there, prepare to be invisible and get rid of the people behind us. Esdeath looked at the sea chart and said calmly. Yi Han nodded and asked them to follow him, just to play with him. When Yi Han and others disappeared, their choice would become interesting. Yihan on this side was already fully prepared. On the other side, number 3, who was responsible for observing Yihan, felt his eyes were a little sore, so he stretched out his hand and rubbed his eyes. The next moment, number 3 was horrified because Yihan disappeared. This scared number 3 so much that he quickly used up his soul power, and then looked ahead carefully, and found that there was really nothing, so he quickly activated the special device. At once, everyone ran out quickly. What's wrong? Is there a sea soul beast? Number 3 stammered, no, it's Yihan and his people, their ship disappeared. Disappeared. Liu Huai was stunned, looked forward, and found that there was really no shadow of the ship. Number 1 and the others looked into the distance in disbelief. After all, the sea was in full view, so how could he suddenly disappear? What on earth is going on? Number 1 asked excitedly. Number 3 could only repeat the previous situation. The group was confused and didn't believe it at all, but now Yihan really disappeared. Although Liu Huai looked grim, he was ecstatic in his heart. He said calmly, since we have lost it, let's prepare to return. Return. Number 1 was stunned, looking at Liu Huai in disbelief, but sir, the task given to us by His Holiness the Pope. Liu Huai said calmly, we looked for it, but we couldn't find it. It has been taken away by Yihan. When the time comes, we will return to the sea near Hanhei City and stroll around nearby. There is no danger. We can also go to Hanhei City to eat something delicious. Why not? Number 1 and others were tempted, but still asked cautiously, but, will His Holiness the Pope not believe us? Liu Huai said disdainfully, do you know where the treasure is? You don't know. If you find it and Yihan and the others know about it, if they come to rob it, can you stop them? You can't stop them. You can't stop them. In that case, why don't we just go through the motions? There will be only us on the ship. I won't say anything at that time, and you won't say anything. Wouldn't it be nice for everyone to have a happy paid vacation together? Liu Huai saw it clearly. If the spirit hall really wanted to fight for this treasure, they would not send only him as a soul Douluo, but at least one title Douluo. But now there is no soul Douluo, which means that Bibidong does not attach importance to this place at all, so it is fine for him to do nothing. What's more, why did he work hard to cultivate to soul Douluo for so many years? It's not to be a coolie for others. It's to get a high salary and enjoy life. Number 1, I think what the adults said makes sense. Second, seeing that his brothers all agreed, number 1 did not hesitate, okay, everything is up to the adults. That's right, then return to the ship, I will treat you brothers to seafood. Liu Huai said excitedly. Compared with Liu Huai's free and easy side, the Xingluo Empire on the other side is really a headless fly. They don't want to leave, so they can only sail aimlessly on the sea, hoping to try their luck. Besides, Yihan's side is not only invisible, but also dives into the seabed. I have to say that the scenery on the seabed is still very beautiful. There are also many sea soul beasts that have never been seen. Along the way, everyone saw a lot of high-level sea soul beasts, but because they were invisible, they all avoided them. We're here. The island ahead is our destination. Esdeath said while looking at the sea map. The tired people suddenly perked up. I'm not sleepy anymore if you say that. Zhao Lei found a shovel from somewhere and looked at the distance excitedly. What do you want to do with a shovel? Yihan asked speechlessly. Dig for treasure. You don't understand. Zhao Lei waved the shovel confidently. Generally, treasures are in the soil. Since you know, why don't you prepare one for me? Zhao Lei took out the shovel skillfully, one for each person. It's my sponsorship. When you dig up the treasure, give me more. Yihan expressed contempt for this, but still took the shovel. Esdeath and others refused. After all, it was too indecent. There were only a few men, carrying shovels, excitedly comparing the location on the map. Is it here? Bing Hao asked excitedly. Zhao Lei compared carefully. It should be here. Then what are you waiting for? Dig. Yihan was also looking forward to it. Without saying anything, the group of people quickly started to use shovels and dug directly down. It must be said that the speed of Soul Masters is fast. After more than 10 minutes, the roots of a big tree were dug to the bottom, and they didn't even see the treasure chest. I think you are making me laugh. Is there really a treasure here? Yihan said speechlessly. Zhao Lei dug a few more times in disbelief, but unfortunately there was still no treasure. It shouldn't be. Didn't we dig deep enough? How is it possible? If we dig further, We will dig through it. Yi teased. Bing Haoi wiped the sweat from his forehead. Old Zhao, are you really sure it's here? Not only am I sure, I'm very sure. It's here on the map. If you don't believe me, just look. Zhao Lei took out the map and pointed it to everyone, with a confident expression. However, the group of people gathered around and looked at Zhao Lei with strange expressions. Why are you looking at me? Dig? Zhao Lei said with a puzzled look. Yuhan rotated the map 180 degrees with some fatigue. I think this is how the map looks. For a moment, the whole space was quiet. Zhao Lei was so embarrassed that he felt that he could dig out a 3-bedroom and a living room with his toes. It was simply too social. Let's go. Let's go upstairs and take a rest. Uncle Zhao, fill the hole for me. Yuhan said seriously. Why? Didn't we all dig it together? Why should I fill it up? Zhao Lei said in a low voice. What are you talking about? Facing Yuhan's expression, Zhao Lei, knowing that he was in the wrong, acted quickly and soon filled up the big hole. This time Yuhan personally took the map. If he gave the map to Zhao Lei again, Yuhan doubted whether he could see the treasure before dark today. They soon came to the other side of the island, and after careful comparison, Yuhan and others began to work again. The digging time was very short, and the shovel hit something hard. The group excitedly pushed the soil away, and they were excited to see the box inside. It took a lot of effort to pull the box to the ground. Xiao Feng, you open it. You are lucky. Hearing this, Ben Zhou Feng walked to the side of the box and slowly opened it. There was a smaller box inside. Everyone was stunned, and Yuhan had a bad premonition. Seeing that Ben Zhou Feng was about to open it, Yuhan stopped him directly. I'll do it. Yuhan attached soul power to his right hand, smashed the treasure chest directly, reached into the innermost part, and took out a note from it. It clearly said, those who can come here must have seen my treasure map. The treasure is on this island. Follow my clues to find it. I will never let you down. Sure enough. The person who hid the treasure is really troublesome. Tang San complained. Yuhan reached into the box and touched it. Wow. Another map, but why is the style of this map so familiar to me? Looking at the simple lines on the map, there is only a starting point, an end point, a treasure chest, and a small flag. Everyone looked at Zhao Lei. If Zhao Lei hadn't been following them, Yuhan would suspect that Zhao Lei was the first to replace the treasure. Forget it, take a night's rest and continue tomorrow. Yuhan sighed. Everyone had no objection. It was getting late, so they returned to the boat, made it invisible, and started to have dinner. Although it seemed that the treasure had not been found yet, at least they had found the place where the treasure was. In this case, the contents of the treasure were still quite exciting. Chapter 265, The rabbit is so cute, it must taste delicious. The next morning, Yuhan was suddenly woken up when he was talking about some serious matters with Zhou Guang's daughter. Looking at the big face in front of him, Yuhan was furious. Zhao Lei, you'd better give me an explanation, otherwise I will throw you into the sea to feed the fish. Zhao Lei said a little aggrievedly. Xiao Han, get up and find the treasure, and it was Yi who asked me to call you. Yuhan shook his head and sighed helplessly. You go out first, I'll go out later. Zhao Lei left immediately after seeing this, without any delay. Yuhan washed up, then walked into the restaurant, had some breakfast, and saw that the group was ready to go. Everyone seems very excited. Yuhan said vaguely with a piece of bread in his mouth. Yi spread out the map. Actually, I'm not excited at all. I just want to know if you can understand where the location of this map is. Yuhan saw this abstract map again, and said with a headache for a while, in a sense, I can understand it, but in a sense, I can't understand it either. Listening to Yuhan talking nonsense, everyone rolled their eyes to express contempt. After all, the whole map is very simple, the end point, the starting point, the small flag, the treasure chest, but because it is too simple, there is no reference at all. The only thing we know is that the treasure is on the island, but the island is so big, how to find it? I think we can simulate it. I scanned it yesterday and sent it to you now. Ben Zhou Feng suddenly spoke and opened his game system. Yuhan and others received the files one after another, and soon a map appeared in front of everyone. What is this? This is a map of the island. The red dot is where we dug something yesterday, which is also the starting point of this map. We can simulate the approximate route, at least we won't be clueless. Ben Zhou Feng explained. Yuhan's eyes lit up. Technology really changes the world. With a map, everyone had some motivation, which was a good start. They quickly planned some routes. In order not to waste time, Johan prepared a lot of food in the soul guide and prepared to have a picnic on the spot. Everyone was a soul master, so they were very fast and arrived at the first location as soon as possible. Just like yesterday, they observed the surroundings and started digging. However, the scope of digging today was a bit wide. After all, they could only determine the approximate area, and they must try nearby. Wow. I'm so tired, I think I'm going to die. Jalais filled the pit with a desperate look on his face and marked it on the map. Come on. You, a titled Douluo, are you saying you're tired? Do you see you're sweating? Johan said speechlessly. Jalais touched his forehead when he heard this. Is it okay for me to be tired? If I had known that the treasure was so hard to find, I would never have come. Wouldn't it be nice to play in Hanhei City every day? Stop talking nonsense. Get to work. Oh. The group was really busy for the whole morning, but in the end, they got nothing. Not to mention the treasure, there was not even a shadow of the treasure. This was the most despairing thing. Brother Han, look, what a cute little rabbit. Benjo Feng said with great surprise as he looked at the little white rabbit that jumped out in front of him. Johan also saw it and licked his lips. Such a beautiful little rabbit must be delicious, and the spicy rabbit head must be good too. Benjo Feng, who was originally surprised, looked at Johan vigilantly. Brother Han, how can you do this? Rabbits are so cute, how can you eat rabbits? Facing Benjo Feng's malicious cuteness, Johan said that he was not interested at all. Don't say it's delicious with tears in your eyes when the time comes. Seeing that Johan was about to take action, Benjo Feng quickly grabbed Johan. Brother Han, I won't pay attention to you if you are here. Johan rubbed his head speechlessly. Let's vote. I want to eat spicy rabbit head. Vote. The rabbit is so cute, it must be delicious. I support Johan. As a foodie, Leah absolutely agreed unconditionally. After all, cuteness cannot be eaten. Allah. Such a cute little animal is extinct because there are too many people like you. I support Xiao Feng. Kwang Sam smiled charmingly, looking at Johan with a dangerous look in her eyes. Johan felt a little uncomfortable being stared at. He coughed and whispered, we are not voting democratically. Don't threaten me. We must catch this rabbit. Esdeath suddenly said. That's right. Yi also expressed his opinion. Yihan's eyes lit up when he heard it. Look, there are still many people who want to eat spicy rabbit head. Bang. Yi looked at Hanzhou Kid with mist in his eyes and punched Johan directly. Are you stupid? Don't you realize that we have never seen a living creature on the island? That's right, let alone living creatures, there are not even mosquitoes. The whole island is just like a deserted island except for plants, but a rabbit suddenly appeared on such a deserted island, which is very suspicious. Esdeath also explained. After hearing this, everyone also found that it seemed to be the case. In this case, whether to eat it or not is another matter, catch it first. Johan made a prompt decision. Yi disappeared from the spot in a flash, and appeared next to the little rabbit the next moment. Just when her hands were about to touch the rabbit dodged quickly, so fast that people couldn't see how it moved. This rabbit. It's not simple. Yi's face was solemn. She was too fast, and she knew it herself. Help. Johan said and rushed out quickly, but unfortunately the rabbit flashed and disappeared again. The road ahead is blocked. Esdeath and Bing Hao quickly released the power of ice and froze the little rabbit in an instant, but the next moment the rabbit flashed and disappeared from the frozen. Oh my god, it's not the speed, but the special ability. Dongtang said in shock. Dongtang, cooperate. Esdeath and old man Bing control it, I also need to prepare. After Johan finished speaking, he began to mobilize his soul power at a rapid speed and began to chant a spell. This body is made of swords. The blood is like iron, and the heart is like glass. He has been on countless battlefields without being defeated. He has never been defeated. He has never won a victory. The flag bearer was alone here, forging a sword on the sword hill. Then, this life has no meaning. This body is destined to be made of infinite sword. Third soul skill, true name release, infinite sword system. Just as Johan's infinite sword system was opened, Dongtang quickly put his hands together and exchanged positions with a rabbit. For a moment, everyone was pulled into the infinite sword system. The reason why Dongtang and the rabbit exchanged positions was mainly because they were afraid that the rabbit would leave at the moment of using the infinite sword system, resulting in not being pulled in. The main reason for using the infinite sword system is that Yuhan has no way to effectively solve the special ability. Since he can't solve it, he will pull it to his own space. I know you can understand what I mean. This is my world. If you think you can survive with just a special ability, just run away. But if you can't run away, you are a spicy rabbit head. Yuhan said, and the sword stuck in the ground around him began to tremble slowly. For a moment, the whole sword fight was against the rabbit. Faced with such a grand moment, the rabbit was stunned, and took out a small white flag from behind his big ears and waved it continuously. Seeing this, Yuhan slowly walked over and picked up the rabbit. The little rabbit did not struggle, but Yuhan did not easily unlock the infinite sword system. You should know why we caught you, Yuhan said meaningfully. Since the rabbit knew what he said, he naturally knew their purpose. Sure enough, the little rabbit broke free from Yuhan's arms, then took out a small box from behind his big ears and handed it to Yuhan, shaking a small flag by the way. Yuhan took the box and touched the little rabbit's ears curiously, and found that there was nothing at all. How did you hide things? But this was just a complaint, not very concerned. Instead, Yuhan slowly opened the box in his hand, and there was a letter inside. At 3 o'clock in the morning, go to the highest place on the entire island. There's everything you want. This is the last time. Seeing this, Yuhan speechlessly handed the letter to everyone. He didn't expect that there would be twists and turns, and he still had to work. Chapter 266 Beautiful Scenery. After releasing the infinite sword system, Yuhan released the rabbit. Although he was a little reluctant, he had promised the rabbit anyway. Well, he had promised the rabbit, so he could not break his promise. The little rabbit also left here directly, leaving these devils. So this little flag refers to the little flag of surrender in the little rabbit's hand. It asked me to come here not to dig for treasure chests, but to tell us that we can find rabbits with treasure chests here. Looking back from the results, it seems that this is the case, and at first glance, there seems to be no problem. However, this kind of thing cannot be savored in detail. I feel that the person who made the map is a little bit wrong. Agree +1. Let's go back first. After eating, take everything away, and we will go directly to the highest place on the island and wait until 3 o'clock in the morning. If there is nothing this time, we will leave directly, Yuhan said firmly. After all, 3 times is the limit. In the spirit of adventure and novel experience, Yuhan didn't care about the first 2 times, but if it happens again and again, Yuhan would rather not have this treasure. Time passed quickly, and soon it was dark, but everyone ate, drank and played together, so this period of time was not boring. Soon, it was pitch dark, and everyone started to burn firewood. Time passed by. As 3 o'clock in the morning came, a beam of light suddenly flashed in the sky, illuminating the surroundings. Damn! The person who hid the treasure must be sick. Turning on the strong light at night, don't you know it's bad for your eyes? Yuhan protested loudly. The strong light disappeared, and a delicate little box appeared in front of everyone. Such a bright light, we didn't find it yesterday, Jalei said with some doubt. Bing Haoe was unmoved. Maybe some conditions must be met to trigger it. Otherwise, not everyone can find this place. That makes sense. In that case, Zio-han, take a look at what's in the box, Jalei asked excitedly. Seeing this, Yuhan was not vague. He picked up the box and slowly opened it. There was a large piece of ice blue gem inside, which was very beautiful. Although he didn't pick it up, he felt a breath of the ocean. There was also a letter under the gem. Yuhan slowly picked it up and opened it. My dear, when you see this letter, you should have got the sea stone. It's a gift for you. I have to say sorry here. In fact, at the beginning, you could get the sea stone as long as you arrived at the first place. But later, I saw that my terminally ill granddaughter had a doodle, so I temporarily added some things that my granddaughter liked. I'm sorry to trouble you or you. I have been on the sea all my life. I was born on the sea and died on the sea. I have been a pirate and an ocean cleaner. I have done good things and bad things. I have countless treasures in my hands. Everything seemed so stable until I was about to die. I set out again and walked the same path again. It's sad to find that the villagers on the island are living in poverty, and the source of all this is the pirate group I founded. I clearly agreed not to rob civilians at the beginning, but I didn't expect that such a change would happen after the passage of time. It's a pity that a dying person can't stop it, so I spent all my family wealth and brought these civilians to the inland to settle them down. In the end, Only the most precious sea stone is left for you or you. I'm really sorry. But please look forward. This may be the last gift. If possible, I hope you can pass it on to more people. The end of the letter is also the life of an old man. Johan and others looked up. As the sun slowly rose, a beautiful scene was seen, which made people linger. So beautiful. Everyone in the group couldn't help themselves. Soon, as the sun rose completely, the scenery became very mediocre, but there was a different kind of quietness. There are words. Benjo Feng pointed at the letter. Johan was stunned and turned the letter full of words over. The one I feel most sorry for in my life is my family. When my wife died, I was not there. When my son died, I was not there. When my granddaughter got sick, I was powerless to save her. I hope that those who see this letter can cherish their families and don't be sad in vain. In addition, the sea stone is the reason why the little rabbit can use the space ability. The following is the usage. I hope it will be useful to those who are destined to be with me. Finally, I hope to spread this beautiful scenery again. Johan looked at the sea stone in his hand and was really speechless for a moment. You know, the space ability is unique no matter in which world. Just getting the sea stone is the biggest gain. Compared with countless treasures, the value of the sea stone will only be higher, and it is priceless if it is taken out. Let's go. Since this old man left us such a precious thing, we must keep our promise. Johan said with emotion. I really didn't expect that there are such lively things in the world. Yi played with the sea stone, looking left and right. Yes. As long as the energy inside is absorbed, the empty knot can be transferred. What is the principle? Hanzhou Feng was also a little curious. She could use the power of space and she could never figure it out. As soon as the group returned to the boat, Johan locked himself in the house, not knowing what to do. But everyone still had endless aftertastes of the scenery just now. No, sleep, I have to go again tomorrow. Yi suddenly said. Maybe Yi's words resonated. Yes, I want to go too. Even Esdeath, who was not interested in this, agreed. Who can refuse such a beautiful scenery? In the early morning, Johan came out tiredly, and was dragged away before he had time to drink a sip of water. Ziohan, you didn't sleep. What did you do? Why do you feel that you are mentally exhausted? Yi asked worriedly. Johan smiled and said, I'll give you a surprise when I go up. As the sun slowly appeared, the beautiful scenery appeared again. Johan took out several jade boxes and said, This is for you. I hope you like it. When Tang San opened the jade box, she saw a special ring, a necklace and a pair of earrings, which were inlaid with sea stones. They were very beautiful and their construction technology was even more exquisite. That's right, this is the result of Johan's sleeplessness. The sea stones absorbed the energy inside and are still gemstones. They are still very beautiful. Johan disassembled the sea stones and made them into 3 sets. And it is a customized style. For example, Tang San, the necklace is inlaid with a very small engraved emperor, which was carved by Johan himself with sea stones. As for where the technology comes from, Johan can only say that the third soul skill and the king's treasure yides. For a moment, Tang San and others were really moved. Tang San even threw himself into Johan's arms and kissed him directly, but it was over soon. Just when Johan was savoring the gift, Yi came over and kissed him. Sister likes your gift very much? I wonder which is better, mine or Tang San's. Then, Johan received 7 kisses while she was confused. Johan said that although she was confused, she felt great. As for Duang Tang's, it was very simple. It was a small Takata figurine. Although it was very small, Duang Tang said that it was the best gift she had ever received. Johan received an exquisite ring and necklace. In addition, this is from Uncle Zhao and Old Man Bing. Johan gathered the fertilizer into 2 jade pendants. After all, the space power inside was real. We have it too. Zhao Lei was stunned, and then a little moved. Zio Han, we don't need it. Yes. You can get the space power by yourselves, don't let it be insufficient by then. Bing Haoi refused. Johan smiled, it's okay, everyone who sees it gets a share, and I've tested it before, and the amount for each of us is completely enough. After all, our ancestors told us to cherish our family, didn't they? How sentimental. Zhao Lei turned his head away and took the jade pendant. Thank you, I'm leaving first. Bing Haoi was the same, and Johan knew that the two were just a little moved. Who is this angel's jade box for? Hanzhou Feng suddenly said. The clock is for Tang San, the ice flower is for Esdeath, the Shiffengian clan emblem is for Yoruichi, the British pattern is for Leah, and the shield is mine, so whose wings are these? It would have been better if Han Zhofeng hadn't said it. After saying this, Yihan also saw it. He didn't think much about it at the time and took it all out. This is for Jinriksu. He knows Jinriksu's feelings for him. To be honest, he also has feelings for her, plus the contact with Jinriksu during this period. Facing everyone's gaze, Yihan put away the jade box awkwardly. Ahem, I'm going to absorb the power of space first. Besides, I like your kisses. Facing Yihan, who was running away, no one chased him. How greedy. You said you like it, but you still want to mess with other girls. Tang San laughed. Brother Han is such a scumbag. I don't know how these two people hooked up. Let's forget about it this time, but we have to unite our front later and can't let the little vixen appear again. Esdeath said seriously. Everyone nodded very seriously, and a special alliance was officially established. Chapter 267, Stirring Up the Storm. The evening breeze blew across the sea. Tonight might be the most peaceful sleep Yihan had ever had since he came to this world. Not only Yihan, but also Esdeath and the others. Everyone slept until the sun was shining on their buttocks, and no one got up. It was not until the afternoon that everyone began to gradually come out. It's incredible that Esdeath slept in. Zhofeng got up and saw Esdeath, who was also yawning and had messy hair. He was a little surprised for a moment. Esdeath didn't care either. She nodded to Zhofeng and walked to the dressing table with the jade box that Yihan gave her yesterday in her hand. Seeing this, Zhofeng's heart moved and he quickly ran into the room. When he came out, he also had an extra jade box in his hand. Soon, almost everyone got up, leaving only Yihan. This time, it was really not that Yihan wanted to sleep in, but that he was too tired. The carving was so delicate. Although it relied on other people's treasures, the consumption of soul power and energy was also unquestionable. Ziohan, get up. Feeling someone pushing him, Yihan opened his eyes dazedly, and saw Tang San wearing a necklace and earrings. Yihan was stunned for a moment. It must be said that Tang San's charm with accessories is not diminished at all, and she is even more beautiful. What time is it? Yihan quickly came back to his senses and asked with a yawn. Get up and eat. It's already evening, and you haven't eaten for a day. Tang San explained with a smile. Yihan was stunned, and quickly got up. Looking at the gradually darkening sky outside, he stretched his waist and touched his stomach. He was indeed a little hungry. As soon as he went out, Yihan saw all the girls, one by one, wearing the accessories he gave them, and for a moment he was still very happy in his heart. Beautiful. Yihan was not stingy, and it didn't matter if he praised them. What's more, the charm of the girls was indeed improved a lot after wearing them. Okay, stop talking nonsense. While everyone is here, let's talk about the task given to us by the owner of this letter. Even Esdeath was a little embarrassed to change the subject. Yihan was also slightly serious about this. The sea stone was so precious. Yihan said that he would fulfill the last wish of the owner of the letter. It was also something he could do within his ability. What do you think? Tell me. Yihan said with a smile. Me. Zhofeng raised his hand first. I took photos before. We can print them out and tell them the specific location. Facing Zhofeng's photos, everyone was very surprised. Zhofeng, give me a copy. I want one too. Plus one ahem, let's talk about business. Well, give me a copy later. Yihan said with an awkward smile. Tisk. Yi thought for a while and said, I don't think it's possible. Whatever we say here is on the sea. The sea is full of sea soul beasts. We have Liuli and we can go unimpeded, but ordinary people can't. If it's a soul master, the scenery alone doesn't seem to be enough to attract them. Indeed, this world still respects strength. If it's just photos, it will only attract some nobles in the end. Esdeath also echoed. I have a way, but it's a bit hurtful. Jalais said suddenly. Everyone looked at him at once. What's the solution? The map. Jalais pointed to the real map. This is a treasure map. As long as we give it out, people will flock to it immediately. Everyone's eyes lit up. Yes. If the treasure is used as a lure, there will definitely be a lot of people who will be fooled, but this kind of thing must be handled well, otherwise it is easy to cause unrest. Okay. Old Zhao. I didn't expect you to have this brain. Bing Hao Yu said in surprise. Zhao Lei raised his head proudly. That's right. No, what do you mean by still have? I have always had it. It's just that I haven't had the opportunity to show it. Yuhan pondered for a moment. Okay, but we have to arrange it, otherwise it may end up with corpses everywhere, which is a sin. Everyone slept enough today, so they were naturally not sleepy. They talked until dawn and finally came up with a perfect plan. At dawn, Yuhan didn't wait, turned on the invisible diving, and set off directly to Hanhei City. After all, there was something important to do, and everyone didn't mean to wait, and soon arrived at Hanhei City, which was still a familiar city. The next morning, Yuhan was in the downtown area and issued a notice. The content is very simple. I found the place where the treasure is. The treasure inside is very special. Even I was amazed when I saw it myself, and I benefited a lot. At the request of the master, I hope to share it with everyone or soul masters on the mainland. I will distribute the treasure map for free in the afternoon. If it was an announcement from a little-known person, no dog would even look at it, but Yuhan would not. People who knew Yuhan's identity have already started to take action. Are you sure this is a message from Yuhan himself? Bibi Dong said seriously. Yes, and the map distributed this time is completely different from what we got. It is a very detailed sea map, which also clearly marks the location of the treasure and the triggering conditions. Liu Huaiyu said very seriously. Bibi Dong looked at the treasure map carefully, and felt moved in his heart, but also a little hesitant. Yuguan, gimme, what do you think? Is it a conspiracy? It's hard to say. After all, Yuhan is very cunning, and every move is very purposeful. It seems that there is no benefit for him in this. Gimme said hoarsely. Yuguan also nodded in agreement. The two had been tricked by Yuhan many times. Now, whenever Yuhan was involved, they would be careful everywhere. I think it's true this time. Liu Huaiyu hesitated for a while and still spoke. Bibi Dong looked at Liu Huaiyu in surprise and said lightly, what's the reason? Yuhan didn't hide anything this time. Telling the world means that if Yuhan deceived us, he would become the public enemy of us soul masters in the continent, so I believe Yuhan would not be so stupid. As for the purpose, it's really hard to say, but something that benefits people like Yuhan must not be simple. Liu Huaiyu's words made Bibi Dong, Gui Mei and Yuguan all agree, and their hearts were even more restless. Not bad, you did a good job this time, go back and get your reward. Bibi Dong said with satisfaction. Liu Huaiyu hurriedly said, thank you, His Holiness the Pope. Bibi Dong saw that the people had left, and immediately said, Gui Mei gathered a small force, and I will go there in person this time. Is it too risky? Yuguan said worriedly. Bibi Dong waved her hand and said seriously, the things that benefited Yuhan a lot must be related to God, and it was said that it was requested by the master. If it's not God, who can ask Yuhan? So this time I have to go there in person. It has to be said that what Bibi Dong said is exactly the same as what Yuhan wants. Who is Yuhan? He is the mayor of Anil City, but in addition to this identity, Yuhan also has a well-known identity, that is, the Seeker of Miracles. Among them, the God of Fire, the God of Water, and the God of Thunder are all related to Yuhan, and even entered the ruins. So the only things that can help Yuhan are the things of God. There are always many smart people, and they may feel something is wrong, but the same thing still applies. In Douluo Continent, it involves God. Whether you believe it or not, there will always be someone who will go. If it is true, it will be a step behind. Sometimes being a step behind will lead to complete loss, which is no joke. Bibi Dong set off here, and Dai Yunfei personally led the team to Hanhei City in the Xingluo Empire on the other side. The recent Xiandao Empire is a time of transition of imperial power. Under Zhu Zai's leadership, the Xiandao Empire is basically in a period of reconstruction, and the pressure on the border of the Xingluo Empire is much less. Dai Yunfei also saw this and left with peace of mind. For a time, the entire continent became turbulent again because of Yuhan's treasure map. The instigator is patiently waiting for the result, or in other words, as long as he goes, it will be fine. This is his promise to the owner of the letter. Chapter 268, A Scam That's Not a Scam. Hanhei City was originally a large seaside trading city, and it can be said that people come and go. But recently, because of the treasure map, the entire Hanhei City has become overcrowded for a while, and two professions can be said to be making a lot of money. One is a navigator, and the other is a ship merchant. You have to know that most of the people who come here are from inland areas, and they have very few opportunities to contact the sea in their lives. Not many people know the sea chart, so naturally navigators have become very popular. As for ship merchants, this is even more so. Large organizations, such as Wuhan Hall and Xingluo Empire, directly buy a ship, and smaller sects also choose to rent a ship. These are all money. As a businessman in Hanhei City, he naturally noticed this very keenly, and quickly raised the price in one go without any drag. At this moment, on the glass, Jin Ringsu looked at Yuhan seriously. What's the matter? What did you find? Why are you here? Aren't you going to preside over the re-election of the 7 sects? Yuhan asked with a smile. Jin Ringsu rolled her eyes in annoyance. Haha, as soon as you sent the message, everyone ran away. Fortunately, it was not released during the re-election of the 7 sects, otherwise I would have doubted your purpose. Yuhan smiled awkwardly. If you want to go, let's go together. Believe me, that place will not let you down. Oh? Really? Jin Ringsu said half doubtfully. Seeing this, Yuhan took out a jade box from the soul guide and handed it to Jin Ringsu. This is a gift for you, take a look. Jin Ringsu was stunned and slowly opened the jade box. Inside were rings, necklaces and earrings, which were specially customized like Esdeath and others. In fact, Jin Ringsu discovered it when she got on the boat, but she just didn't point it out. You are really philanthropic. Jin Ringsu naturally understood the meaning of this ornament. To be honest, although her face was very unhappy, Yihan's spirit of philanthropy could not be concealed, but the joy in her heart could not be concealed. Yuhan also smiled and said confidently, this is not philanthropy. You are all my wings, and I can't give you up. This opening is an old scumbag. Haha. What? Don't like it? Then give it back to me and I'll give it to someone else. Yuhan said with a sly smile. Jin Ringsu subconsciously put the jade box away. It's already been given, how can I take it back? I like this gift very much, thank you. In addition, I'll go out first. Yuhan smiled. Okay, this jewelry has other effects, you can ask Esdeath and the others. Got it. Jin Ringsu walked out and looked at the jade box, sighed, hesitated for a moment, and took out the jewelry from it and put it on. I hope you won't let me down in the future. Since she has made a decision, Jin Ringsu will naturally break into the small group. When Jin Ringsu came in with the jewelry, Esdeath and the others understood, since you have chosen, don't regret it. Kwang Sam smiled charmingly. Jin Ringsu also nodded firmly when she heard the words. She is not an indecisive person. Soon the group of people got along well, and Jin Ringsu also successfully joined the alliance of Esdeath and others. In fact, women's friendship is so strange. After resting for 2 days, Yuhan prepared and took Jin Ringsu and others to the treasure again. Because of Liuli's speed, when Yuhan and others arrived, Bibi Dong and others had just set up camp. Seeing Jin Ringsu coming down from Yuhan, Bibi Dong just took a deep look and ignored her. Soon, there was no need to set up camp on Yuhan's side. He quickly set up a barbecue grill and took out the prepared ingredients. A delicious barbecue started. It must be said that the situation at the moment was very strange. The Xingluo Empire was eating military rations. Although the food in the Wuhan Hall was not bad, it was a world of difference compared to Yihan's side. As for some other small sects, let alone, some were even eating dry food. As Yuhan started to barbecue, the fragrance began to overflow. Xiao Han, are we going too far? Benjo Feng, who was the focus of everyone's attention, said cautiously. Yuhan smiled, it's okay, we'll eat our own food. You see, the old senior is different. Jin Yi paused and coughed, I'm so old now, I naturally enjoy myself while I can, otherwise I don't know when I will die. Just when everyone was happy, the people around him were not feeling well. Ahem. City Lord Yihan. Long time no see. Dai Yunfei said with a smile. Yihan raised his head with a smile on his face. It turns out to be General Dai. Long time no see. Smelling the fragrance, Dai Yunfei said very straightforwardly, let's not beat around the bush. I want to buy some barbecue from City Lord Yihan. Yihan did not embarrass Dai Yunfei, but took out a lot of ingredients from the soul guide very naturally. It's impossible for me to help you grill, but I can give you the grill and ingredients. Dai Yunfei was happy, righteous. Nothing, you are the same, tonight the ingredients will be provided by me, City Lord Yi, eat as much as you want. And thank you for coming. Yihan said with a kind smile. Yihan still felt a little bad about this scam, So this was just a small compensation. Faced with Yihan's generosity, everyone surrounded him, leaving only the people from the spirit hall drooling. After all, it was so fragrant. But what kind of organization is the spirit hall? It is an organization with backbone and integrity. Gurgle, don't drool. If you're hungry, eat more. Bibi Dong yelled a little irritably. The people from the spirit hall lowered their heads quickly. Fortunately, it was not Yihan who was making the barbecue now, and the fragrance was not so tempting, so they could barely bear it. Time passed quickly, and when it was almost 3 o'clock in the morning, one soul master after another went up the mountain and soon arrived at the destination. The only drawback was that the mountain was not so big, and at most there were only a dozen people standing at the highest point. Anyway, Yihan did not participate, so it was their business to distribute it. In the end, Jin Ringsu, Bibi Dong and Dai Yunfei must have been sitting on the Daioyote. As the sun rose, a magnificent scenery came into view. Even though Yihan had seen it twice, he was still shocked. Women like Bibi Dong, who were full of hostility, were also stunned for a moment, but soon recovered. Jin Ringsu and Dai Yunfei stared at the scenery blankly. After a while, their soul power began to fluctuate. It was obviously a sign of upgrading. Yihan left and stood up in surprise. You know, he really didn't know that he could upgrade here. Jin Ringsu was a soul saint, which was okay, but Dai Yunfei was a soul fighter. It was a big deal for a soul fighter to be promoted to the next level. Soon, a font appeared in the air with smoke. Such a beautiful scenery, let you enjoy it together, don't kill. These words were of course left by Yihan. As long as people believed that this place was a place of God, no one would dare to take action when they saw the 12 words. What's more, it is not known whether it was a coincidence or intentional. Anyway, the upgrades of Jin Ringsu and Dai Yunfei brought great mystery to this place. The original scam was no longer a scam in the eyes of everyone, but a real opportunity. Among the two, Dai Yunfei was very slow to advance because he was a soul Douluo, but Jin Ringsu was very fast. The sun had already risen, and Yihan took Jin Ringsu away directly. What's going on? How did you advance? Yihan asked curiously. Jin Ringsu was stunned. You don't know. What should I know? Yihan was also confused. When I saw this beautiful scenery, I suddenly felt very calm in my heart, as if I had forgotten a lot of troubles, and my soul power also broke through unconsciously. Jin Ringsu tried hard to describe the feeling before. Yihan also understood after hearing this. The fundamental reason why there was no change on his side was that Yihan and the others were originally very relaxed. There was no pressure at all. Dai Yunfei was naturally under a lot of pressure because of years of fighting. As for why Bibi Dong did not advance, it was most likely because she was a title Douluo. After all, title Douluo is not a cabbage that can be advanced just by saying it. But even so, the beautiful scenery here will attract people. Coupled with the words left by Yihan, the soul masters here dare not act rashly, and the mission was completed perfectly. Chapter 269 The Cursed Treasure Chest. The island that was once uninhabited is now crowded with people. It has even become a holy place for the Soul Master world. As long as the Soul Masters who come here and witness the beautiful scenery, they basically have some insights, and it is no big deal to upgrade to the next level. Now some people have comprehended their own soul skills, which made Yihan stunned. After all, this is too ridiculous. The legends outside are becoming more and more mysterious. From the initial Soul Douluo upgrade to the later heaven-given Soul Bones, the inland Soul Masters have chosen to go to sea. Yihan can't control it, and doesn't want to control it. After all, it's all voluntary. There is no conflict on the island. At this moment, Yihan is in the deep sea. I don't know who proposed it, but Yihan thinks he can go and have a look. As for Jin Ringsu and others, after staying for a while, they left directly. After all, the re-election of the 7 sects is imminent. Although Jin Ringsu wants to follow Yihan at this time. But the importance of things is still clear, and we can't lose the big picture because of the small. Wow! Zian, look, a sunken ship. Benjo Feng said excitedly, pointing to the sunken ship on the side. For a while, the sunken ship attracted everyone's attention. See if there's any treasure inside. Jalei said with some interest. Yihan said unhappily, haven't you picked up enough rubbish along the way? You know, Yihan was slowly moving along the seabed along the way. When he saw things on the seabed, Jalei and others couldn't help picking them up. Do you really think there are no good things? That's not the case. Zhao Lei and Bing Haoyu actually found a gold coin along the way, and it looked a bit old. As for the others, Yi Han could only laugh. They were either garbage or discarded items by others. How can you say that? What if the gold coin floated out from that ship? Zhao Lei retorted. Bing Haoyu's eyes lit up, and he said seriously, I think what Lao Zhao said makes sense. It's worth a look. Just be happy. Yi Han sighed. Bing Haoyu and Zhao Lei were delighted when they heard this. Bing Haoyu waved his hand and said, Old Zhao, please give me this chance. Why? First come, first served. Zhao Lei rushed out of Liuli directly, and the soul power on his body formed a protective shield, and he quickly went to the sunken ship. Bing Haoyu was stunned for a moment, and then quickly chased after him. Zhao Lei, you are cheating. This is a trick. Read more books. Old Bing. The two entered the sunken ship one after another. Yi Han was not worried at all. They were all titled Douluo. Even if they were at the bottom of the sea, who could cause harm to them? Even if there was, they could still run away. Time passed by minute, and soon Zhao Lei and Bing Haoyu came out of the sunken ship with dust on their faces, excited, and holding two large boxes in their hands. Treasure. Yi said uncertainly. Yi Han was also startled. Oh my god, there really is. Two large boxes were placed on the deck. Zhao Lei and Bing Haoyu's eyes lit up. Yi Han and others also gathered around. Zhao Lei quickly blocked the treasure chest. What are you doing? I tell you, this is mine. I won't take yours, it's all yours, open it and take a look. Yi Han said speechlessly. Hearing this, Zhao Lei breathed a sigh of relief, turned around and looked at the treasure chest with burning eyes, slowly stretched out his hand and opened the treasure chest. Wow! So many gold coins, I'm rich. I'm rich. Zhao Lei excitedly stretched out his hand and was about to grab it. Yi Han quickly grabbed Zhao Lei's hand. Zhao Han, what are you doing? Didn't you say they are all mine? Calm down, this is not a gold coin. Yi Han said seriously. When opening the treasure chest, Yi Han was also quite excited. After all, it was a box of golden coins, but soon Yi Han found something wrong. This gold coin was too new. You know, this is the bottom of the sea, and there are such brand new gold coins in a wooden box found in a sunken ship, which is a very strange situation. So, with the idea that it is better to be cautious, Yi Han made an appraisal. The cursed treasure chest, when your greed prompts you to pick up the gold coins, you will fall into the abyss. Yi Han handed the result to Zhao Lei and Bing Haoyu, and they were all scared and sweating. It was almost an accident. It seems that not all the things on the seabed are good. That's right, throw these two things away quickly. Bing Haoyu also said with lingering fear. Esdeath looked at the treasure chest, and then at the sunken ship outside. Maybe the sunken ship outside is related to these two treasure chests. It should be 100% related. Yi Han also appraised the sunken ship. The destruction of the Charlie was not caused by human factors. The first thing Yi Han thought of for this non-human factor was these two treasure chests, but is there also the concept of abyss in Douluo Continent? Abyss. Maybe it's not what we understand. Ben Tiaofeng said in a low voice. Yi Han also said uncertainly, maybe it's the intention of some evil god. Liuli moved forward again. This time Bing Haoyu and Zhao Lei were safe and stayed in Liuli obediently. As for the two cursed treasure chests, Yi Han also stayed. As they continued to go deeper, a huge trench slowly appeared in front of everyone. After asking for everyone's opinions, the group quickly dived down. As the depth continued to increase, it basically became pitch black. Fortunately, Liuli had a lighting device. In addition to invisibility and concealing breath, there was no need to worry about being attacked by any sea soul beast. Look what that is. Liuli looked around and saw a huge stone statue. Yi Han quickly controlled Liuli to approach the stone statue. How can there be such a stone statue in this deep sea? And it looks like it was built here on purpose. Yes, and this stone statue is so new, it's incredible. Yi said in surprise. Identification. As the saying goes, if you are undecided, identify it. If you don't use the cheat, you are stupid. Demon servant, as long as the energy is not exhausted, you will not die. Note, the stone statue in front of you is still alive. What is a demon? Yi Han was stunned. You know, I have seen a lot of gods during this period, but this is the first time I have heard of the so-called demon. Crack. The originally quiet stone statue suddenly opened its eyes. For a moment, Yi Han hurriedly controlled Liuli to leave, but the next moment, a black hole sucked Liuli in. Everyone only felt a blackness in front of their eyes, and then appeared in a spectacular arena. There was no one around, which seemed very strange. Where is this? Ben Zhou said worriedly. Yuhan shook his head. Let's go out and take a look first. Lily's invisibility seems to have no effect on the previous things. The group left Liuli. Yuhan put away the shrunken Liuli, and looked around. The next moment, the surrounding stone pillars suddenly lit up and flashed. A total of 9 lights shone on everyone, and the arena that was originally in full view also became 9 areas. There was a stone statue in each area. Please defeat the opponent in front of you. As long as you defeat your opponent, you can help your friends, lovers, relatives. In addition, I hope everyone will be careful. This battle does not prohibit any weapons or items. You can use anything you can think of. Facing the sudden appearance of the font, everyone's eyes were solemn. You must know that this place is not where they want to come in, but where they are pulled in, which means that this place must be very complicated. In addition, it involves the so-called demon god, and things become even more complicated. Chapter 270. Let the Buddha and him fight. Well, let's start now. As the font disappeared, the stone man in front of everyone began to slowly wake up. Seeing this, Esdeath's eyes were cold, and the ice sword in her hand appeared instantly. The ice blue slash was fleeting, and the stone statue was directly shattered. This situation is not only on Esdeath's side. Yuhan and others also took the initiative. However, the surrounding barrier did not disappear, and the stone man on the ground began to slowly reorganize and stand up. Seeing this, Yuhan frowned, swung the spear in his hand again, and smashed the stone man fiercely. Then the god flashed a burst of flames, wrapped the rubble, and prepared to destroy the body. The same was true for Esdeath and others on the side. Unfortunately, as Yuhan's attack ended, the surrounding rubble began to slowly overlap and turned back into stone men again. What on earth is this? Yuhan frowned. Identify. The demon stone man. As long as the energy is not exhausted, there is no way to destroy it. Note, the energy is slightly stronger than at the beginning. Is it the same as the stone statue outside? Yuhan carefully observed the stone man. Where's the energy? Is it hidden in the rubble? If you can't figure it out, go find it. This is Yuhan's usual practice. He smashed the rubble again and carefully observed each rubble, but no matter what, Yuhan saw the same thing. After repeating this several times, Yuhan was completely sure that there was no breakthrough on this stone man. It's not on the stone man. Is it in this barrier? Yuhan casually waved his spear, ready to smash the stone man. But the next moment, the original stone man stretched out his hand to block Yuhan's spear. This sudden change startled Yuhan, and then the king's treasure behind him quickly shot out the treasure and smashed the stone man. Then he thought quickly for a while and quickly opened the guild group. Yuhan, don't kill the stone men. Find a way to control them. Every time you kill these stone men, their strength will increase by 1 level. Esdeath, really? Why am I looking forward to it? Yuhan. Hanzhou Feng, Brother Han, this stone man can't break my defense at all, but because I killed him several times, it seems that I can't do anything about him. Yi, that's true, but these stone men are immortal. Do we have to waste time here? You know, we don't know where their energy comes from, but our soul power is limited. Leah, that's right, and I tried it, but I can't control it. Seeing Leah's message, Yuhan was stunned. The heavens chain behind him flew out and entangled the stone man. Looking at the stone man who couldn't move, Yuhan didn't have time to breathe a sigh of relief. The stone man automatically disintegrated, and then recovered again. The power has increased again. Can it only be like Xiao Feng? Yuhan was a little unconvinced, and took out a must-kill yellow rose from the treasure. The yellow rose of destruction is a gift from the fairy king Manman Maklil to Diarmut Odin. It has the effect of hindering the recovery of the opponent stabbed by it. The cursed spear, which can cause irreparable damage, will instantly reduce the upper limit of the HP after being attacked by this spear. Even healing magic and regeneration ability can only restore to the injured state. The injured state will continue until the yellow rose of destruction is destroyed or the user is eliminated. The yellow rose was sent into the body of the stone man by Yuhan, and the powerful force directly smashed the stone man. After waiting for a while, the stone man did not move at all. But the barrier still did not disappear, and then the broken stones began to gather again, but this time the speed was more than a little slower than before. Will it still recover? Yuhan scratched his head in annoyance. Can I only use the mystic eyes of death? Yuhan has absolute confidence in the mystic eyes of death, but the mystic eyes of death have a very obvious disadvantage, which is that it consumes too much mana in such a position. The consumption of soul power must be controlled tightly. You know, if you kill the stone man this time, what if another one appears later? That's right. Just when Yihan was hesitant, he suddenly thought of the cursed treasure chest. He quickly moved the glass to take out the treasure chest, and then quickly opened it. The heavens chain bound the stone man's hands, pulled him over and placed him on the gold coins, and then quickly left the place. The next moment, a dark force instantly enveloped the stone man. The stone man disappeared without a trace. Just when he wanted to reassemble, a black liquid appeared in the treasure chest, and the surrounding barrier shattered. The treasure chest also became very quiet, as if nothing had happened. Seeing this, Yihan was ecstatic. He took the treasure chest and quickly went to the nearest barrier. Then he solved them one by one, and soon all the puppets disappeared. Only the stone man on Bing Haoi's side was a little difficult to deal with, and it took a little more time. The entire arena returned to its previous calm. I didn't expect this abyss to be so powerful that it can even fight the devil. Yihan smiled and touched the treasure chest. It seems that it was right not to throw it away at the beginning. Don't mention it. What the hell are these stone men? The more you fight, the stronger they are. My old waist is hurting. Bing Haoiu said speechlessly. You have to know who he is, Bing Haoiu. He is a level 99 extreme Douluo. Killing such a small monster is not easy. In fact, it is also true. Bing Haoiu found that he couldn't kill it from the beginning, so he directly used the extreme ice to freeze it, and then killed it as soon as it recovered. Who can compare with such efficiency? So the stone man became stronger and stronger, directly shattered the extreme ice, and gave Bing Haoiu a combination punch. Just as several people were complaining, the font appeared in the sky again. Congratulations, it's amazing that no one died. There are stronger opponents below, but this time it's one on many, please be careful. A huge barrier appeared again, and a huge stone statue also slowly appeared. Yihan smiled disdainfully, opened the treasure chest, and the heavens lock appeared. One of the statue's hands was directly pressed into the treasure chest. The next moment, the black power appeared again, rapidly devouring the statue. In a short while, the barrier completely disappeared. Faced with such a situation, Yihan's face was a little strange. This situation reminded him of a joke in his previous life. What should I do if someone puts a ghost-attracting thing at my door? It doesn't matter. Find a temple and put it in the merit box, so that the Buddha can fight him. Isn't the current situation like that? Let the abyss and the devil fight. Just when Yihan was thinking about it, the font appeared again. It seems that you have found the trick and solved it quickly. Congratulations on completing the challenge and being summoned by the devil. Everyone experienced a feeling of blackness in front of their eyes again, and the next moment they appeared in a strange palace. A gentle and elegant young man looked at the few people very comfortably. I really didn't expect that there would be so many people coming this time. Who are you? Yihan asked politely in the spirit of asking if he didn't understand. The nobleman laughed. How rude. I am Nice, a demon god. You have been recognized by me, so you can become my servants. Yihan's mouth twitched slightly. What the hell? When other gods are recognized, don't they all pass on their positions? Why do you just become a servant? Nice was not angry, and smiled lightly. In the evil god sequence, inheritance is not advocated. If you want my position, kill me, and the position will naturally be yours. Yihan also nodded in understanding. This is indeed in line with the setting of the villain. As long as there is life and death, there is no friendship. You all have good qualifications, especially the 7 of you. Since the divinity you carry is not rich in any magazines, it is simply wonderful. As long as you submit to me, I will spare no effort to make you the strongest one under my command. Nice looked at Yihan and others with some obsession. This look gave Yihan goosebumps. It was really too gay. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 271. If you don't uproot the grass, it will grow again in the spring breeze. In the palace of the demon god, Yihan and others were facing Nice from a distance. Yihan did not speak, and Nice did not speak either, as if they were frozen for a moment. For Nice, as a demon god, although he looked like a nobleman, elegant, and considerate, these did not exist when he became a demon god. Nice was not afraid that Yihan could do anything excessive. This was his confidence in himself. Even if Yihan resisted, Nice would make Yihan agree. In contrast, Yihan had no good impression of the so-called demon god from the beginning, and was already thinking about running away. Although he did not speak on the surface, he had already opened the guild group. Yihan, Xiao Feng, see if the return to city function can be used. We are ready to run away. Ben Tiaofeng closed his eyes slightly, and then shook his head with some disappointment. Han Zhou-Feng, Brother Han, it can't be used at all. It seems that this ability can be blocked here. Esdeath, that's more troublesome. I feel that this battle is inevitable. Yoruichi, in this situation, let's see first. Things will work out when the time comes. Yihan was a little annoyed when he saw that he couldn't use the return to the city. His biggest support disappeared all of a sudden. Then he suddenly thought of something and said meaningfully, "Actually, I have some questions to ask." When Nice heard Yihan speak, he took a sip of red wine and said elegantly, "My beautiful lady, I will definitely satisfy all your questions." The corners of Yihan's mouth twitched slightly, but now was not the time to make a fuss. "Abyss, what is it?" Crack. The wine glass in Nice's hand broke, and the red wine splashed all over him. His whole face became a little hideous, and then he quickly recovered. "Where did you hear this thing from?" It seemed like a question, but Yihan could feel that it was unquestionable. "In a relic, there is a record of the abyss," Yihan said casually. Nice frowned and waved his hand. The red wine on his body and the broken glass on one side began to slowly disappear. After a while, his body became very clean again. "Abyss is synonymous with fallen creatures," Nice explained calmly. Yihan continued to ask, "I really want to know, what is the difference between you evil gods and the abyss? Aren't they both fallen beings? And aren't most of the evil gods promoted by evil soul masters?" "Evil soul masters?" Ha ha ha. Nice seemed to have heard something funny and laughed wantonly. "Evil soul masters are evil soul masters, and evil gods are evil gods. I can tell you clearly here that evil soul masters will never be able to reach the standard of evil gods in their lifetime. The abyss is within reach. The final way out for most evil soul masters is the abyss. After all, there are no rules, no time, only endless evil and corruption there." Yihan listened to this answer and became more vigilant about the so-called abyss. Judging from Nice's various performances, the abyss is definitely not simple. Even the devil needs to be wary of the existence, which is not a trivial matter. Why can't evil soul masters become evil gods? What exactly is the abyss? Yihan was ready to get to the bottom of it. Unfortunately, Nice had no desire to chat. Some things, knowing too much will easily lead to leaving this beautiful world. Now answer me, will you become my subordinate? Although it was a pity, Yihan did not show anything, and said very politely, "Thank you very much for the invitation of Lord Demon, but we are still unworthy of such an honor, and hope Lord Demon will understand." Politely and tactfully refused. Nice also nodded, "It doesn't matter if you don't agree, you will agree in a while." Facing Nice, who was in high spirits, Yihan pursed his lips. "I knew there was no way to make peace." "Back off." The extreme ice on Bing Haoiu's body burst out instantly, and appeared in front of Yihan, martial soul true body. Facing the god Bing Haoiu, he did not dare to relax at all, and the powerful soul power continued to burst out. Nice looked at Bing Haoiu with interest. A purple divine power slowly appeared, and the next moment Bing Haoiu's attack was shattered, and the whole flew out, falling to the ground and bleeding. This situation also made Yihan's pupils shrink, and his evaluation of God also rose to a higher level. Although he had fought with God before, it was obvious that the soul god Ling Yi let him go, otherwise he might be like now, a level 99 extreme Douluo, and almost died with one blow. Bang! There was another sound, and Zhao Lei on the side also flew back. The inheritance of the ice god and the god-given soul bone of the angel god, you two are still very interesting. I spared your lives this time, and I hope you won't do it again next time. The demon god said very elegantly. Is it really necessary? Yihan said seriously. Nice looked at Yihan with a playful look. Your expression tells me that you seem to have some trump cards. Why not just show them directly? I will solve it, and you will surrender, and if I can't solve it, it will suit you. Although Nice's words made sense, Yihan would not be stupid enough to really put it out in the open. Some things are not effective if you do them freely, and the truth is to catch people by surprise. In this case, I naturally have some trump cards. Lord Demon God is so confident, I hope you don't fall over. Yuhan flattered falsely. Nice was still confident in his own strength, especially when he heard Yuhan say that he would flip over. He almost laughed out loud. He saw a halo of light appear behind Yuhan, and a large number of heavenly chains came out from it. Facing such an attack, Nice was unmoved. The next moment, the heavenly chains tightly locked Nice. Nice was stunned when he wanted to break free, because he couldn't break free. Even as he used his divine power, the heavenly chains became tighter. The sudden change made Nice look at Yuhan deeply. It's really interesting. I hope you can offer this weapon to me after you surrender to me. Yuhan just smiled non-committally. I'm curious, what will happen if the demon fights the abyss? Nice was stunned, not knowing why Yuhan brought up the abyss again, but still said proudly, even if it is the abyss, I am not afraid. I hope so. Yuhan said, and the heavens lock pulled Nice over with force. Stupid. Although Nice was locked, the divine power on his body could still be used. Seeing Yuhan's actions, an evil divine power was about to rush towards Yuhan. Regardless of this, as Nice got closer and closer, he suddenly took out the cursed treasure chest. Under the sudden change, Nice didn't react at all, and put his hands into the treasure chest. Seeing this, Yuhan directly released the heavens lock and quickly retreated. Abyss versus Demon. I hope to see the heroic figure of Lord Demon. Nice was a little confused at this moment, because at this moment a lot of black liquid was wrapped around his body. Abyss. Why do you have the power of the abyss? A lot of divine power seemed to be free, but unfortunately the power of the abyss continued to devour Nice. The two sides were deadlocked for a while, and no one was willing to take a step back. The surrounding palaces also began to tremble. Yuhan hurriedly took out a colored glass. Come up. It is estimated that this palace is the product of Nice's divine power. When we go out, we will still be on the bottom of the sea. We can't stand it. The group of people boarded the boat one after another. Seeing that Nice had no time to take care of themselves, Yuhan was relieved. San, treat Uncle Zhao and Old Man Bing. Kuang San nodded and the Emperor KK appeared behind him. The reason why he didn't recover before was because Yuhan didn't know whether the cursed treasure chest was useful, so he had to keep a hand, and finally there was the Eye of Death as a backup. Damn it. Damn it. Damn the abyss. Nice's face was ferocious, completely losing his previous nobility. He looked at Yuhan on the side. You deserve to die too. Since the Lord Demon wants to kill me, I can't just sit there and wait for death, so I have a big gift for the Lord Demon. Yuhan's face was a little gloomy. The heavens chain appeared, and another cursed treasure chest appeared. You know, Yuhan got two of this thing. Use the heavens chain to attach the treasure chest to Nice again, and the latter looked at Yuhan in disbelief. Even so, Yuhan did not stop, and his soul power fluctuated. Third soul skill, true name release, direct death magic eye. Nice only has 1 point on his body, without any other weaknesses. Isn't he worthy of being a god? Facing this pair of weird eyes, Nice trembled. Even if he faced the abyss, as long as he was given time, he could still break free, or even kill it, but at this moment Yuhan gave him a feeling of death. This feeling was the first time he felt it since he became a god. Let me go. I can give you all my treasures. Nice said calmly. Yuhan was unmoved, and the spear in his hand fiercely pierced the dead point. If you don't cut the grass at the root, it will grow again in the spring breeze. With Yuhan's attack, Nice only felt that his divine power began to collapse, and then his body. The power of the abyss instantly enveloped Nice, and the surrounding palaces instantly shattered. Yuhan moved to the boat in space. Yes, it was the power of the sea stone. Everyone's eyes flashed, and they appeared in the deep sea again. The surroundings became very calm, as if nothing had changed. Chapter 272 Incident. In the sea, on the glass, Yuhan and others were still a little scared. Finally out. Hanzhou Feng swallowed his saliva. This demon god is still very oppressive. Even the battle maniac Esdeath nodded in agreement. It seems that Ling Yi didn't let him go last time. He just let him go. Yuhan lay on the deck and complained, last time it was just a soul body. When I opened the death eye, I saw many dead spots and dead lines. Today this demon god is the real body, and I only saw one dead spot. Let's go back. The seabed is not fun at all. Leah said speechlessly. Dongtang quickly agreed, I agree. Who knows if there are any evil gods in the seabed? There is a demon god here, and a ghost god back. Who can stand it? Johan also nodded in agreement. That makes sense. It's a pity to lose those 2 treasure chests. No pity. 2 abyss treasure chests in exchange for a demon god's life, a big profit. Leo was still very open-minded. Tang San also smiled. If there are no 2, Zio-han, you probably won't be able to kill the demon. Johan thought so too. You know, he is a cautious person. Although the demon and the abyss treasure chest are in a stalemate, Johan is not at ease, so he put the second one. Facts have proved that the demon really has pair strength. Facing 2 abyss treasure chests, he can still hold his ground. If Johan attacks directly, the demon may dodge or even counterattack. Both of them will kill with 1 blow. It just depends on who attacks the other first. With this kind of thing, the group quickly returned to Hanhei City. Finally back. Johan took a deep breath and felt a breath of the sea. Esdeath said a little perceptively, "Do you feel that Hanhei City seems to have become a little different?" "Different? What's different?" Johan was stunned and looked around. Yi frowned. In fact, she also noticed it, but she was just not sure. There are fewer merchants. It's okay to be less. Merchants have to go out to do business. It's normal to have fewer. Johan said as a matter of course. Esdeath shook his head. It's not normal. The original number of merchants in Hanhei City must be much more than this number. Something must have happened. Johan is not a stubborn person. Since Esdeath is so sure of his judgment, Johan is cautious and plans to scatter to find out the news and gather at noon. Everyone dispersed one after another. Johan also observed a lot along the way and found that there seemed to be fewer merchants in the entire Hanhei City, but it was not strange. He was ready to ask passers-by, but as soon as he saw Johan, he left and walked away, as if he didn't like Johan very much, which made Johan a little confused. Time flies, and the group gathered. Yi's face was very solemn. Something big happened. What's the situation? Why do people in Hanhei City seem to reject us? Johan asked with some doubts. We have only been on the seabed for more than a week, and it has been more than a year here. I guess it's because of the Demon Palace. Yi's first sentence stunned everyone. This is too ridiculous. Johan said speechlessly. Yi shook his head. The next point is the key point. In this year, Anil City has not changed much. After all, our organization is still very mature, but the Douluo Empire was destroyed by the Spirit Hall. Ahem. Johan was shocked. What the hell? Really? Benjo Feng and others were also a little surprised. The current Spirit Hall should be called the Spirit Empire. The Douluo Empire has been occupied. The royal family suffered heavy casualties. Only some people from the Dai family and the Zhu family of the White Tiger sect escaped. Originally, they were going to defect to Anil City, but because of our departure, Anil City did not agree, so they defected to the Xiandao Empire. The leader is Dai Yunfei. Yi's words were no less than an 18-magnitude earthquake. You know, the Douluo Empire is a big empire. Even if it was destroyed, it wouldn't last for less than a year. People outside reject us because we are soul masters. Recently, there have been wars everywhere, and it is normal for soul masters to be unwelcome. In addition, the few merchants are actually merchants from the original Douluo Empire. Yi explained. Johan rubbed his temples. Zio Feng, use the return to city function directly. Ben Tiao Feng also nodded solemnly, and a blue beam of light enveloped everyone, and the next moment he appeared in Anil City. Sister Yi, sort out the situation of this year and send it over. Yihan's face was a little ugly. Who knows how many days he was trapped in there by the demon god, which is more than a year outside. If he was trapped for a few more days, he would meet Toyuheo when he came out, which would be outrageous. Although Yi was not there for the year, Bai Chengxiang still managed the Xinjiang well, and the information was presented to Yihan very quickly. The destruction of the Douluo Empire happened less than 3 months ago. Looking at the situation, Yihan clenched his hands tightly, because the intelligence showed that Yihan had made an indelible contribution to the destruction of the Douluo Empire. Although the re-election of the 7 sects caused Bibidong to lose a lot of power, the re-election of the 7 sects also led to a large number of sects going to special locations to prepare. Taking this opportunity, Bibidong retreated to advance and planted many of her own people in the sects of the Douluo Empire. With the end of the re-election of the 7 sects, these people naturally entered the Douluo Empire. and the lower 4 sects and 1 upper 3 sects are all in the Douluo Empire. The Douluo Emperor must summon them to show his goodwill. That's how the entire palace became less indestructible. The only person who understood was Yunfei, who was still guarding the border at this moment. His hometown was suddenly stolen. In one night, the royal family was basically killed, and only some people from the Dai and Zhu families ran out. When Yunfei heard the news, he was ready to lead his troops to the Douluo Empire. But there was a mutiny in the barracks. At this moment, Yunfei knew that the situation was over. He made a decisive decision and broke out with his confidants. He found the remaining royal family of the empire and then went to Anil City to seek refuge. Unfortunately, Yihan and others were not there. Yunfei, who had sought in vain, took another way. Although the Xiandao Empire seemed to have nothing to do with Anil City. But Yunfei knew clearly that the current Emperor Zuzai of the Xiandao Empire was backed by Yihan, and he could seek asylum by joining the Xiandao Empire. Zuzai was not opposed to Yunfei's arrival. You know, since Yunfei began to guard the border defense of the Douluo Empire has been improved to a higher level. Zuzai would not let go of such a talent. This is the case here. On the other side, Bidong, while the news has not been completely spread, slowly replaced all the ministers with people from the Spirit Hall. Then arranged for the Spirit Hall branch halls in the Douluo Empire to replace local officials. For civilians, it doesn't matter who manages it, as long as they can eat and drink enough. As the time is ripe, Bidong completely announced the existence of the Spirit Empire. It was at this moment that everyone woke up from their dreams, and the Douluo Empire really collapsed. What a good move. Yihan looked at the situation with a headache. He didn't expect that in just over a year, Bidong would gain such a huge power. Although Jinriksu had tried to stop them and even tip off the emperor of the Douluo Empire was too stupid to believe it. In addition, Bidong was very experienced, so Jinriksu could not resist and could only watch the destruction of the Douluo Empire. You are still too young. This news should be given to Yunfei, not the emperor. Yihan shook his head. It can be seen from the fact that Yunfei was involved in several major events in the Douluo Empire that Yunfei's control over the Douluo Empire may be greater than that of the emperor. This may be the reason why a powerful general would be arranged to guard the border. After all, his achievements are greater than his master's. Chapter 273 Preparing to Counterattack. Xiandao Empire, in the palace of Xiandao Imperial City. Brother Han, sisters, long time no see. Zuxi was very happy looking at Yihan and others sitting below. Yihan used to take good care of Zuxi. Whenever he had time, he would bring Esdeath and others to Xiandao Imperial City to see Zuxi. But because of the demon god Nice, more than a year has passed, causing Zuxi to almost think that Yihan and others had an accident. Long time no see, little Zuxi. Yihan greeted with a smile, and then looked at the man who was a little old. General Dai, long time no see. Yunfei smiled self-deprecatingly. What General Dai? I am not anymore, and now even the Douluo Empire no longer exists. Yihan didn't know how to comfort him for a while, but thinking about Yubei's expression when he came back from the Sea God Island, he would definitely be very interesting. I came here this time just to understand what the Spirit Hall has reached now. Yihan said very seriously. Although the intelligence agency of Anil City is very powerful, it is not so easy to obtain intelligence because Bidong has strengthened her defense. In this case, it is better to ask the person involved directly. Some basic intelligence, with the means of your Anil City, you should have known it, so I won't waste my words and say something useful. Yunfei looked at Yihan seriously. Yihan also nodded seriously. Bidong's strength has improved by leaps and bounds recently, showing a strange trend, and there was a mutiny in the barracks at the beginning. I feel that there is also a problem. I am still confident in my soldiers, but there was a mutiny. Yunfei's words made Yihan fall into deep thought. Thinking carefully about the original work, there is only one reason that can make a title Douluo like Bidong suddenly become stronger, the inheritance of the god of Rakshasa. However, Yihan's Rakshasa god did not control people in the original work, but this is not a novel after all, but a real world. I know, we will check your soldiers' affairs. I have something else to do, so I will withdraw first. Knowing what he wanted to know, Yihan had to go to Wuhan City secretly. Yunfei and Zuzai also knew that this was a special time, so they didn't keep Yihan for long. After leaving Xiandao Imperial City, Yihan had no intention of resting, and went straight to Wuhan City. Isn't the defense of this Wuhan City a little weak? Liu said in a strange way. Yi said disapprovingly, according to the intelligence, most of the people in the Wuhan Hall were taken away by Bibi Dong to build the so-called Wuhan Empire, so it is understandable that Wuhan City is a little weak. After all, the current Wuhan Empire is not very stable. Yihan also nodded, it's better to be weaker. It saves us trouble. Wuhan City's defense force weakened, and Yihan and others sneaked in without any accidents. The entire Wuhan City is now only Jinriksu's worship hall. Most of the other high-end combat forces were taken away by Bibi Dong. This is also where Bibi Dong is smart. She felt that Jinriksu wanted to replace her position, so if Wuhan City was attacked, Jinriksu would definitely not sit idly by. This is why Bibi Dong was relieved to leave Wuhan City vacant. Yihan walked unimpeded along the way, and soon came to courtyard. There was no need to hide his actions. Who? Jinyi opened his eyes, and several titled Douluo around him also sensed it. Yihan walked slowly into the room. Everyone looked at this familiar face and breathed a sigh of relief. You know, although the worship hall has developed well during this period, but because Bibi Dong occupied the Xingluo Empire, it is still a bit difficult for the worship hall to make waves. Yihan, Shenglong, Jinyi and others looked at Yihan in surprise. In fact, when she discovered Bibi Dong's conspiracy, Jinriksu had looked for Yihan, but unfortunately Yihan disappeared completely. After searching in vain, there was no way. When Jinriksu saw Yihan, she couldn't help but rush over and hug Yihan. In response, Yihan carefully touched Jinriksu's head. I have been wrong during this period, but I am back. Where did you go? I can't find you no matter how hard I look. Jinriksu asked excitedly. Yihan heard the story and told the whole story, which made everyone stunned. Demon God. City Lord Yihan, you have a firm grasp of gods. To be honest, I have never seen a god in my life. Jinyi said with some envy. Shenglong on the side also nodded, that's right, even traveling can see a god. Although it is an evil god, it can also show the luck of City Lord Yihan. Yihan just waved his hand to indicate that it would be better not to mention it. Xiaoxu, I came here this time just to ask if Bibi Dong has started the god test. Jinriksu was stunned. God test? Does Bibi Dong have a god position? You don't know? When did Bibi Dong leave the spirit hall? Has she ever come back? Yihan frowned and asked. Jinriksu looked at the ghost leopard on the side. It has always been his task to collect intelligence. The ghost leopard also quickly stood up and said, since the attack on the Xingluo Empire, until now the establishment of the Wuhan Empire, Bibi Dong has not appeared. Yihan understood that Bibi Dong must have started the god test when she left, and she has not come back to prevent the news from leaking out. In this case, it is understandable that Jinriksu didn't know. Xiaohan, what should we do now? Are we just going to watch Bibi Dong dominate? Jinriksu said with some concern. Yihan touched his chin. In fact, for Bibi Dong, Yihan's plan was to slowly nibble away and let her die slowly before she completely became a god. But the current situation seems to be a little out of control. Bibi Dong started the god test, the Xingluo Empire was destroyed, and everything seemed to have changed a lot because of him, the butterfly. Bibi Dong retreated to advance, so we will take a step further and prepare to force the palace tomorrow. Yihan explained his plan in detail. Jinriksu and the others looked at Yihan in surprise. Jinriksu asked worriedly, will Bibi Dong be desperate? Yihan shook his head. No one knows that I'm back now. We are doing it very secretly, so Bibi Dong will make a choice at the moment. You know, Bibi Dong is a smart person. Jinriksu heard this and nodded to show that she understood. Seeing this, Yihan left quietly again. At this moment, Bibi Dong was sitting on the throne that the Emperor of Xingluo Empire used to sit on. She was so comfortable. Is there no news from Enel City? Your Majesty. Your Majesty, our people have not found any trace of Yihan. Shilong said respectfully. Bibi Dong nodded. Since Yihan and the others disappeared, Bibi Dong felt that everything she did was so smooth. No one disturbed her, no one plotted against her, and no one took the lead. Of course, Bibi Dong was still very suspicious of Yihan's conspiracy at the beginning, but the arrow was on the string and had to be shot, so Bibi Dong set out, and the final result was very satisfactory. It was precisely because Bibi Dong did such a thing, and Yihan did not show up, and it was completely confirmed that Yihan seemed to be completely missing. So Bibi Dong prepared to start her own road to hegemony in a big way during the time when Yuhan was away. Chapter 274. If you take a step back, I will take more advantage of you. Just when Bibi Dong was preparing for her own Wuhan Empire, Yu Guan ran in a panic. What's wrong? Bibi Dong frowned and looked at Yu Guan. Your Majesty, it's not good. Jin Ringsu announced that she would become the new pope in Wuhan City. Yu Guan said breathlessly. You know, Jin Ringsu has been in Wuhan City all the time. She has been law-abiding during this period. Who knew that something like this would happen suddenly? What? Bibi Dong's pupils shrank, and the whole person was a little angry. Who gave her the right? Yu Guan hesitated for a while and said carefully, Jin Ringsu said that when the Wuhan Empire was established, the original Pope Bibi Dong became the emperor, so the position of the Pope would be vacant. The most suitable candidate is the current owner of the worship hall, Jin Ringsu. How dare he do that? Bibi Dong was really angry now. For Bibi Dong, she is the Pope and the emperor. As a wise person, Bibi Dong will never share the power in her hands. Yuhan also understood this. Bibi Dong was very smart. When Jin Ringsu was at her strongest, she chose to take a step back to avoid her edge and take advantage of the opportunity of Jin Ringsu's 7 sects re-election to gain greater benefits. So now Yuhan will take advantage of this step back. At this moment, the Wuhan Empire is still unstable, and Bibi Dong has no way to leave. At this time, Jin Ringsu announced that she would become the Pope, even if Bibi Dong refused. With the power of the worship hall and the common consent of the 7 sects, she can still dominate the situation. This move is not to disgust Bibi Dong, but to cut off Bibi Dong's retreat. Originally, Bibi Dong had a very good idea. He left the people of the worship hall to guard Wuhan City. Even if he failed, he could still return to Wuhan City to develop. Your Majesty, what should we do? Ghost asked hoarsely. Bibi Dong rubbed her temples. She always felt a familiar sense of oppression, but she was not sure. Why did Jin Ringsu take action at this time? Go and investigate it for me, especially Anil City. Also, spread the word that I have a better candidate and Jin Ringsu is not suitable. Now she is the emperor of the Wuhan Empire, and there is no need to forcibly occupy the position of Pope, but even so, the person who sits on the position of Pope must be hers. As Bibi Dong spoke, everyone stared at Wuhan City for a while. However, as Yuhan expected, with the power of the worship hall and the support of the 7 sects before, Jin Ringsu still became the current Wuhan Hall Pope very smoothly. It's just that there are too few people who can be used. But it doesn't matter. As long as you become the Pope, it means that you have obtained the resources of the Wuhan Hall. You must know that Bibi Dong regards Wuhan City as her base camp. There are quite a few resources left inside, and Jin Ringsu is not polite. She took them out directly and began to recruit new soul masters to join the Wuhan Hall. Bibi Dong wanted to send someone to stop them, but as luck would have it, the Xiandao Empire took action, which meant that Bibi Dong was unable to do anything and could only solve the problem at hand. Bang! Jin Ringsu, that bastard. What on earth are you trying to do? Bibi Dong roared. No one around dared to speak. Bibi Dong looked at Gui Mei on the site and said, Tell me, Anil City's actions, the Xiandao Empire's actions, must be Anil City's orders, which means Yuhan is back. Gui Mei hesitated for a while and said carefully, Your Majesty, Anil City has not made any moves, and the people of Anil City have not contacted the Xiandao Empire. According to our intelligence, the person who instigated the Xiandao Empire to send troops was the original Xingluo Empire's general, Dai Yunfei. It's that old fox. We should have killed him at all costs. Bibi Dong thought gloomily. To be honest, she didn't expect that Dai Yunfei would run away in the end after such a big mutiny. It was incredible, but Bibi Dong was relieved to hear the news. As long as Yuhan is not involved in Jin Ringsu's incident, Bibi Dong still has a chance. Since Jin Ringsu has become the Pope, find something for her to do. Don't bother us. Bibi Dong thought about it, but there was no good way to deal with Jin Ringsu. Then the best result is to not let Jin Ringsu bother her. Yes. What about the mercenary union in the Wuhan Empire? Bibi Dong asked seriously. Shilong shook his head. I don't know why, every time we planted a spy, it was always discovered at the first time and then killed, without giving it a chance. Your Majesty, if it doesn't work, just drive the mercenary union away. No. Bibi Dong's eyes were very serious. The mercenary union is also the product of Anil City, carrying a lot of resources and benefits. Just for this reason, it can't be driven away. There is another point that Bibi Dong didn't say, that is, Yuhan is not here now. If the mercenary union's affairs attract the attention of Anil City and contact Yuhan, then she will lose more than she gains. However, such words are a bit hurtful to morale. If the mercenary union doesn't work, let's put it aside for now. How are the soldiers in various places? Bibi Dong looked at a minister on the side. This man was originally the prime minister of the Zingluo Empire, but he rebelled early. He also played an indispensable role in Bibi Dong's success this time. Your Majesty, don't worry, the soldiers have basically been appeased. Only Dai Yunfei's men are constantly disciplining them. Bibi Dong's face sank when she heard this. If she didn't really need these soldiers now, Dai Yunfei's men would definitely be killed without a single one left. Try your best to win them over. Yes. After Jin Ringsu became the Pope for a while, Bibi Dong really took another step back. Faced with such a situation, Yuhan was ready to take advantage of it. Not only did she wantonly expand her own power, but she also blatantly replaced the affiliation of the Spirit Hall Branch Hall, which made Bibi Dong very angry. Jin Ringsu's behavior was simply standing on her head and pulling Ollie. How could she tolerate this? Yuguan, kill all the people who came to the Spirit Empire to replace them. Bibi Dong roared angrily. Facing the furious Bibi Dong, Yuguan nodded quickly. Just when Bibi Dong was about to attack the people in the Wuhan Empire, the Xiandao Empire took action. The soldiers led by Dai Yunfei again launched a surprise attack on the Wuhan Empire. This sudden attack made the border of the Wuhan Empire suddenly precarious. Bibi Dong had no choice but to send people to guard and condemn the Xiandao Empire. Unfortunately, who is Dai Yunfei? He has been guarding the border for decades, and he is an old hand. The reason given was that the soldiers of the Wuhan Empire entered the territory of the Xiandao Empire and then started the attack. And listed various evidences, saying it with reason and evidence, adhering to the principle of not fighting an unprepared war. Zhu Zai was not polite either. She strongly condemned the actions of the Wuhan Empire and asked Bibi Dong to give an explanation to the Xiandao Empire. This practice of blaming others made Bibi Dong almost have a cerebral hemorrhage. Jin Ringsu kept putting pressure on this side, and the Xiandao Empire on the other side was biting and not letting go. This was also the most tiring day since Bibi Dong founded the Spirit Empire. Ghost? Give this to Zhu Zai. Yuguan, how are you handling it? Bibi Dong chose to compromise temporarily. In her opinion, no matter how strong Zhu Zai was, she would not attack the Spirit Empire. The best way was to deal with Jin Ringsu first. Your Majesty, the people sent by Jin Ringsu were originally affiliated with the Spirit Hall. Do we have to kill them? Yuguan was also confused when he saw the people. What? Are you sure? Can you rule out the problem of spies? Bibi Dong asked with a frown. Yuguan looked embarrassed. Your Majesty, it's not just a problem of spies. There are just too many of them. All the original members of the Wuhan Hall of the Xiandao Empire have been sent here, and many of them are not strong, so their placement is also a problem. Bang! Damn it! How come this little girl Jin Ringsu has suddenly become so experienced? Keep an eye on Jin Ringsu recently, I want to see who gave her the advice. Faced with such fierce means, Bibi Dong was furious, but she also knew that now the enemy is in the dark and she is in the light, so she must at least figure out her opponent. Chapter 275, Lure the Snake Out of Its Hole. The Wuhan Empire, which was once in its heyday, seemed to have suffered a fatal blow. Unable to stop Jin Ringsu's attack, it compromised with the Xiandao Empire and spent a lot of money to resettle the Wuhan Hall personnel sent by Jin Ringsu. The current Wuhan Empire can be said to be in a mess. It's so refreshing. This is the first time I'm so happy since the demise of the Zingluo Empire. Dai Yunfei in the mansion laughed and drank. As he laughed, tears flowed unconsciously. Even so, Dai Yunfei still drank big gulps of wine, as if he didn't care. Everyone knows that Dai Yunfei guards the border and keeps the Zingluo Empire peaceful for eternity, but they don't know that he is suspected by every generation of emperors. If Dai Yunfei was in the capital, how could Bibi Dong take down the Zingluo Empire so easily? What's more, he has held great power and protected 3 generations of emperors, and has never had the intention of rebellion. Who in this world can understand his sense of belonging to the Zingluo Empire? So the tears he shed now were not because of the fall of the royal family, but because of the shattering of the belonging he had pinned his hopes on for decades. General Dai, you are in such a refined mood. But what's the point of drinking good wine alone? Why don't you take me with you? Just when Dai Yunfei was a little sad, Yihan's voice slowly rang out. Dai Yunfei widened his eyes, looked at Yihan in front of him, and rubbed his eyes. Yihan? Why are you in my house? Haha. I am so offended to come here uninvited. Please forgive me, General Dai. Yihan said he was atoning, but he had already picked up the wine jar beside him and poured himself a glass. I will punish myself with a glass. You saw it all. Dai Yunfei, who had drunk a lot of wine, had a slightly red face, and now it became even redder. Thinking about how he looked just now, he was so agitated. Yihan did not laugh at Dai Yunfei. As a person who traveled through time, it was impossible for him not to miss his previous life. Yihan still knew the feeling of missing. General Dai is a man of true character. A man should drink and cry freely. Only when he faces his true heart can he be a real man. Yihan saw Dai Yunfei's embarrassment and calmly gave him a way out. Dai Yunfei didn't expect Yihan to say that. He was still a little moved in his heart. He picked up the wine glass and said, "Cheers! Cheers!" Neither of them said much, and they were ready to drink until they were drunk. In fact, Yihan did have business when he came, but seeing Dai Yunfei like this, Yihan was ready to have a good drink with Dai Yunfei. You know, if it's not true love, a man won't cry easily, not to mention that this man was originally a brave and skilled general guarding the border. It wasn't until noon the next morning that Dai Yunfei woke up slowly. He looked around dizzy and found that he was in his room. He sat up slowly and felt a huge headache for a while. Hiss, what the hell, how much did I drink yesterday? Dai Yunfei muttered to himself and got off the bed. When he opened the door, he saw Yihan sitting on a stone bench, looking calm and composed. His memory came back for a while. You kid, are you cheating? I'm a general, but I can't drink more than you. Dai Yunfei said jokingly when he saw Yihan. Yihan handed the hangover medicine in front of him to Dai Yunfei. It's for hangovers. I have something important to talk to you about later. Dai Yunfei didn't hesitate to drink it in one gulp. Sure enough, he felt better after a while. Thank you, I'll wash up first. Yihan was not in a hurry and waited quietly. Dai Yunfei was also very fast. Tell me. What's the matter? During this period, please spend more time with Jinring Su, and deliberately reveal a piece of news to Bibi Dong. Yihan smiled faintly. When talking about the Wuhan Empire, Dai Yunfei was very serious. Okay, what do you want me to reveal? We are trapped in the seabed, and Anil City has sent a large number of people to rescue us. Yihan's words made Dai Yunfei stunned, and then a gleam of light flashed in front of his eyes, luring the snake out of its hole. But will Bibi Dong believe it? The psychology of gamblers is always difficult to guess. Yihan said confidently. Gambler. If Bibi Dong took control of the Wuhan Hall at the beginning, took her time, and planned her strategy, then she was a successful leader, but when she chose to attack the Xingluo Empire, the nature changed. She was betting that our Anil City would not move, she was betting that the Xiandao Empire would not move, and she was also betting that Jinring Su could not stop her. Dai Yunfei was stunned, and then smiled a little self-deprecatingly, but she bet right, didn't she? Yes. But not all desperate situations can be bet right. Yihan smiled playfully. Dai Yunfei understood after hearing this, the reason why Bibi Dong attacked the Xingluo Empire at the beginning was very simple. The re-election of the 7 sects was not in her hands. Jinring Su's worship hall has artifacts, and has the 7 sects re-election. With Yihan's support, Bibi Dong is unrivaled. She knows that if she doesn't move, she will slowly die. In such a desperate situation, Bibi Dong can only take a gamble, and the result is very satisfactory. She successfully controls the Xingluo Empire and changes its name to the Wuhan Empire. Now that the Xiandao Empire and Jinring Su are attacking together, Bibi Dong seems to be in a desperate situation again. At this time, as long as there is a little sign of a comeback, Yihan believes that Bibi Dong will definitely take a gamble. I know, but there is one thing I want to verify. Dai Yunfei looked at Yihan with some entanglement. Yihan smiled and said, it doesn't matter what you say. No matter what it is, as long as it does not involve confidential information, I will speak frankly. Bibi Dong is out of office, what are you going to do? Dai Yunfei said seriously. The Wuhan Empire will not change back to the Xingluo Empire, the Wuhan Hall will disappear completely and be replaced by the Mercenary Union, and the Wuhan Empire will be controlled by Jinring Su. This is also the question Yihan has been thinking about for some time. Since the Zhongluo Empire has been destroyed, Yihan will naturally not go back. I know. Dai Yunfei did not do anything radical. He could understand Yihan's decision. At least the ruler of the Wuhan Empire was not Bibi Dong. After the conversation between the two ended, Yihan took the lead to leave, carefully hiding himself along the way. Since he chose to lure the snake out of its hole, he had to do the whole show. Dai Yunfei had already said hello to Jin Ringsu. Now it is the situation in Anil City. First, the city defense army and the criminal army were all dispatched and entered the martial law mode, and then Di Dian and others were hidden. The army also looked ready to go at any time, as if they were ready to do something. On the other side, Dai Yunfei and Jin Ringsu decided to meet in a secret but not very secret place. At the beginning, they just chatted. After all, neither of them had anything to do. This action became frequent, and Bibi Dong couldn't help but arrange people to investigate. As a result, just after the investigation, Jin Ringsu and Dai Yunfei changed places, as if they knew they were discovered. This situation made Bibi Dong know that the two must be plotting something. Such careful actions further proved this point, so Bibi Dong needed to know the news even more. Ghost, you go in person this time, and make sure to find out the news. Bibi Dong said with a gloomy face. The people sent out during this period suffered heavy casualties, and no news came out. This made Bibi Dong very irritable. In order to get accurate information, she decided to send out her confidant Ghost. Yes, I will complete the task, Ghost said respectfully. Bibi Dong nodded with satisfaction, go with confidence, and come back directly after getting the news. Yuguan, select the army and meet Ghost at the border of the Wuhan Empire. Don't let him have any accidents. Yes. Looking at the two people who disappeared, Bibi Dong rubbed her temples. She was really exhausted recently. I hope it's not bad news. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.